Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 12th of March 2020. This is The Gap, episode 507. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joe Gilroy is here, and is it hot or something over there? What's going on?
It is hot, yeah. I'm hot. So this is. Don't bring shit up that nobody's gonna. People don't watch fucking YouTube.
It doesn't matter.
Look, it drives me bananas. But it is hot. Did your voice just change? Like, did you just do something?
No.
You went like you've gone quiet all of a sudden or something. I don't know.
No. Should be fine.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think I adjusted it myself.
I might have moved back a little bit, like back here, and then sometimes I go really close, like there.
No, I've got a volume control, and I think my rock hard nipples.
Right, because you're so
the
cold
volume downwards.
from wearing a
cold
tank top.
It's fucking chilly, baby. Yeah. Anyway, so it is hot, and what a rude question. Is it fucking mysterious over there?
It is.
He's wearing a Mysterio shirt.
It is very mysterious.
Is that a Jake Gyllenhaal Mysterio shirt or?
I think it is.
He's the best Mysterio now.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Nice. You don't even know what shirts you're wearing. You just have shirts.
I put it on. I haven't looked into too much detail as to which Mysterio it was, but it is. I just checked, and I can confirm it is the Amazing Spider-Man Far From Home, Jake Gyllenhaal. Mysterio.
I haven't rewatched that. I got to rewatch that movie. I think
it's pretty good.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing at the cinema. So
I saw something today that they're making a live action Into the Spider-Verse film.
What?
And
they're
trying to get like the old Spider-Man in it, like Andrew Garfield and stuff.
Wasn't there that musical?
Yeah,
there was that Too Many Spider-Men, which I only really like. There's only two reasons why I knew about that fucking musical. One, because apparently it was a box office flop and people were like dying on set. Yeah. And two, because of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, where they sing that, they do a sequel of it. That's it. That's the only reason I have any fucking reference of it. It was so ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
Let's
Let's talk about some games. There's a lot here. Again, things are starting to ramp up.
Yes.
I'm looking at the list though, and I'm very confused as to what year it is, Joab. Is it 2009 over here?
Why is that?
We've got Left 4 Dead 2 on the list.
That is the top of the fucking charts. Did it come out in 2009? That's fucking crazy.
Would have been, yeah.
Is that the last time we partied with the pussy magnet that is Eric Johnson from Valve?
That was the last time. Because that would have been the last time he was here.
The vagina commander-in-chief. The titty Tudor. No, Tootin. Yeah. I don't know. I miss him. I miss him every day. Even though, as we established last week or a couple of weeks ago, he's clearly doing nothing. Like, just taking a paycheck. Because Valve's marketing doesn't exist. They put a fucking splash banner at the top of Steam and they call it a fucking day. Yeah. Still.
I think he must do a lot of, producing as well.
He must.
Because I know he was super heavily involved in Dota 2 for a long time. Used to see him, doing a lot of interviews with personalities or shoutcasters and talking about, meta stuff and not necessarily something you would ask a marketing person about. I guess it's leaning towards a bit more PR stuff, but he seemed to know pretty intricate details in relation to the design process. So I think he's got his hands in probably a bit of everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Still, he could give us a call sometimes. Would it hurt for him to call? You know?
Or email.
I don't know. Or email. Just send us some money so we can go to the strip clubs. Anyway, we're playing Left 4 Dead 2. And that game is pretty great.
Still holds up.
I liked it more than Vermintide, if I'm being honest. Like I had more fun in that than Vermintide.
I think because it was harder as
It
well.
was definitely, yeah, because it was harder. And because I didn't feel like, I was doing stuff to accomplish anything other than, like, when it reaches a certain level of tension and complexity, you literally just do stuff to get through it. Like, you don't have time to focus on, finding books or whatever the other fucking stuff we're trying to, like, half-ass doing in fucking Vermintide, because we didn't really understand what we were supposed to be doing. But we were having, like, I was having a wander around in those maps, those giant fucking maps, trying to find them, and yeah, like,
They don't really add anything.
it didn't add anything except for something else to do, which we needed because the game was dull at the difficulty level that we were playing at. And then, Nate didn't actually make the cutoff for the next difficulty level, so we would have had to do another fucking easy run just to get him to the fucking, which is just stupid. Like, it's such a pointless gating mechanism,
like, if you want to
for no reason.
Give someone the opportunity to try and make it at a harder level. Like, don't gate them off because they might not be powered there. Like, if you're good enough, then you should at least have some sort of chance.
It just makes me wonder, like, what does that difficulty actually change, really?
Right.
And it must purely be percentages, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, but what's to say that we don't get to that difficulty and then all of a sudden we're like, this is still too easy for us, like, because we hit that mark and now it's like, okay.
That's also what I was kind of thinking. Like, if it's just changing percentages and our gear is also increasing our percentages, then all I feel like is going to happen is we're not going to find it to be a noticeable difference, even when we do get there. Like, it will be probably harder, but not appreciably, like, not enough for us to actually think of it as hard enough.
Yeah,
because it needs, like, that's the thing about those Swarm games, is they need to be hard enough for you to feel the fucking last second panic, fucking, swinging wildly, doing whatever you can. Someone's, like, in Left 4 Dead, right? In Left 4 Dead 2, when we were doing that fucking, we had to go into that grocery store to get that dickwad his fucking lollies
booze.
Or whatever the fuck, booze or whatever the fuck it was.
So
cola. It was cola. Yeah.
I think it's booze because nobody's like, get me some cola.
Yeah, right. Like this.
That's dumb.
Like, here's your cola. Sorry, it's got brains on it. Like, there was a lot of brains out there. The brains are everywhere at this point. It's R18 out here. It's clearly a PG-13 effort inside your little hovel, but it's disgusting out here. I need some booze now.
Yeah,
I need this cola to fucking mix it with some fucking terrible, like, shitty drink.
And also,
anyway,
what type of person can't carry, like, a 6-pack under their arm and some sort of machine gun in the other? Why do you need both hands to carry this thing?
Right? Like, precious cargo. Like, fucking better not shake it up too much or some shit. I don't know. It was annoying. Anyway, when we were on the way out of there, and I was carrying the fucking booze, and then I got fucking jumped. I got jumped by something.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any heals. And so that situation alone, like, we were pretty in control, and then suddenly we weren't. Like, suddenly we were, like, scrambling. And we were so close to our objective. And it turned the tide of, like, turned the entire fucking mood of, like, but that's the amazing thing about Left 4 Dead, is that it does the ebb and flow so fucking well. Like, we're fucking goofing around. I've got a fucking chainsaw, and I'm, like, just chopping into shit and spinning around and, like, cutting Nate and you half the time. That doesn't fucking matter. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to be fucking chopped, don't go in the fucking range of my fucking chainsaw, right? and then like goofing off, and then like we get through that. We're in the fucking grocery store. We're like, oh yeah, okay, we're gonna hunker down for this swarm to finish, and then we realize the swarm's probably just gonna keep coming until we find our way out. We're like, oh, that's it. Mood change, right? And so suddenly the mood changes from like slightly goofy to quite serious into like a heartbeat, right? And so we're on the up from this goofiness, and then like swinging upwards, and then when I get jumped with the fucking cola, and you guys have to come back, and one of you has to protect the other while they get me back up, right? That's it, right? Like we're fucking at the top, right? We are locked in suddenly. Like it doesn't have to be hard the whole fucking time. It just has to have those moments where you're like, fuck, like we gotta fucking stop fucking about, because and then after the fucking truck exploded, we went straight back to goofing about again. But that's awesome. That's what I want out of one of those games, is that fucking swing and ebb and flow. And like it's very meta, but we directly refer to the director like trying to fuck us, right? We're like, okay, well, we spent too long like fucking about trying to. I think we were trying to get like ammo. We were all trying to cycle through some meds and ammo while we could, and then like a swarm hit like about 10 seconds after we just finished dealing with another swarm. We're like, all right, well, I guess the director wants us to move on. And so yeah, we did. It's quite meta, but the director concept is fucking genius. Like, it works so fucking well. And they absolutely nailed it. I'm sure Vermintide has some form of it as well, because I definitely felt like it did that stuff occasionally. It would do the sort of move on mechanic, and I don't think it was just a simple like camping trigger type thing. I got the feeling like it was deliberately attempting to seed specific like levels of monster at the right moments. It's just that all of it was so comically simple to deal with that it didn't fucking matter, right? And it never, like, it was just was either a goof session, or we would like slightly climb the hill just to, I don't know. The most serious I got was when I was attempting pointlessly to outnumber you guys in kills, which was just never going to happen because you guys were still on all my kills.
Yeah, and we could run away and split off into our own sort of little adventure and not have any problems. Whereas in Left 4 Dead, that's a bit harder, especially because it takes a
in
lot
that
more
third level, right? Fourth.
It was the last level, yeah.
Yeah, with the
campaigns, they're split up into like acts.
In the car mission, if anyone remembers Left 4 Dead 2, there was that thing where you had to get the NASCAR fueled up, and we got to that. I think it took like 5 attempts, and it's because I think that was one where there wasn't an ebb and flow. That was sort of just supposed to be high the whole time. Like there wasn't really a lot of room to goof around in that one, and it makes sense. The last it's the tense final showdown, type thing. But yeah, we split off in that one. We had you up getting fuel cans and throwing them down. That one, I think, like that one alone, because we were playing on what were we playing on? Difficulty above normal, I think.
I don't know. I jumped in.
I can't remember. But we're playing on that, and I think if we had a 4th human, we would have been good. Like, that technique would have been fine, because it's how I remember doing it back in the day. We would have been fine, but because we had the AI and we couldn't tell the AI where to go or what to do or
pick it up, because it was basically me up there with the AI picking them up, running, chucking it down, and then him just following me around, and so I was doing 2 lots at a time.
And he was also not very good at staying near you either. He wouldn't like stay on top of you. He was with you, but then he'd like run back down towards us, and so yeah, he was kind of useless. So yeah, if like we'd had a fourth, that technique would have worked. But because there was only three of us, I think we may have bitten off slightly more than we could chew. Although we got it done. Yeah, it was there was no room for fucking about. There was no room for splitting up. We literally had to all like as a fucking death ball move from fucking fuel can to fuel can.
Well, no.
And
we changed what we were doing because we were originally doing death ball, and we threw all the cans down there, and then we ended up down the bottom again to transition to the next part, and we got in a fight, and then somebody shot the gas can and it lit all the other gas cans up that were on the ground.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, that was
and then we had to start again.
Yeah, that was that was depressing. That was a bummer. I didn't remember you could shoot the gas cans, and I think I must have like collateraled it with the shotty, like a shotty pedal it or something, because I was trying to shoot a jockey off someone, and yeah, I must have hit like a stray. Must have hit the fucking gas can, and they take more than one shot as well, so they must have been taking a bit of damage. But yeah, that was a fucking bummer. That was rough. But yeah, that was good fun. Like that was a lot of fun. They've done a really good job with that shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I want to know what the Left 4 Dead 3 looked like. Like,
yeah,
what happened to that game? Because it was definitely a thing, but is it still a thing? I don't know. Maybe it's just all hands on deck with Half-Life Alyx at the moment, and then they'll reassess
Possibly.
and go back. I mean, because you could definitely do a Left 4 Dead, like if they're all in with VR, they could do a Left 4 Dead VR type game.
True.
But
that'd be like it'd be tough, right? Because the thing about VR is that you can't have extended sessions with it, right? Like,
yeah,
even as accustomed as I am to VR, I still can't go more than, I'd say, 45 minutes is my limit.
right. And also, I think the big appeal of 2 was the multiplayer as well, or even 1.
Yeah.
That is maybe impossible to do with people just warping around the entire time.
What do you mean warping around?
Like, if you've got people trying to get around the environment, they've got to do the.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'd have to be like locomotion, which exacerbates some people's motion sickness.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do teleport. Like Half-Life Alyx has 3 types of locomotion. It's got like regular locomotion where you just sort of fucking walk from point to point. It's got teleport, and it's got like a hybrid where you tell it where to go and your person will physically run over there.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what you'd have to do. And I guess the big test will be whether or not that makes people feel as motion sick as like regular locomotion does, right? Sure. Like, because if they can do teleport without it making people feel teleport move, like teleport regular, the hybrid, right? If they can do that, then I think that would work for Left 4 Dead 3 or Left 4 Dead VR rather. But yeah, you couldn't have teleport. I remember playing Rec Room, which is sort of like it's a free to play like mini game, a fest, right? Yeah. And I was playing dodgeball, and yeah, I wound up stopping, like, not playing anymore because like everyone was annoyed because I was using teleport locomotion because regular locomotion made me vomit. And as soon as I worked out what they were upset about, because I was teleporting out of the way of fucking balls and they couldn't fucking hit me, I'm like, oh, right, yeah, no, that's fair enough, I'll bow. Yeah, like I wasn't trying to dick anyone about. I just, yeah, The other thing is there are versions like what's that game? Boneworks. Boneworks uses regular locomotion, but doesn't make me feel motion sick, and I have no idea why. Right? Like, well, it does make me feel motion sick in other games. Doesn't make me feel sick in Boneworks. There must be something going on there, right? So
like
if they
the
can,
speed of it or something.
yeah, maybe, or like, yeah, I've got no idea. But like, yeah, they did a good job with it in that. Anyway, I'd prefer Left 4 Dead 3 to be a regular PC game.
Yeah.
And I'd really love to play it. That'd be fun.
I mean, yeah, I think that's the way to go about it. Like a follow-up to the last game, and I think it definitely could be done. You look at like where Dead by Daylight is these days, and how successful that is as a multiplayer, this like asymmetrical multiplayer game. They just released a brand new update. I think yesterday, something like that, or they were about to release one, and that game is still like extremely popular on Steam. It's at its highest player count ever at the moment. So yeah, like people are definitely looking for those style of games where there's like two different sides to the what you can do. So Left 4 Dead was one of those sort of things where the humans could shoot at zombies and whatnot, but the zombies had all these weird abilities and could respawn into weird places, and so I don't. There's not a lot of games out there that's sort of doing that. Stuff has tried it, but like your Evolve and that sort of thing. But like I don't know how popular Left 4 Dead is at the moment. I can take a quick look, but I would think it's still got people playing. There were servers up when we were playing the other day.
Yeah, there were servers up. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were playing on a dedicated server, so they're still running stuff, right? Not that I think that game needed. I think it could probably run on a listen server on today's fucking computing hardware, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's got it peaked at 23,000 players in the last month, which is it's good, like for a 10-year-old game, 11-year-old game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. People will definitely be keen for that sort of stuff. And they don't need to make it a giant, AAA blockbuster game. They can do what they've done with like Underlords, chuck 30 people on it. Put something out, like see if it sticks. People, have a battle pass in there, make it free to play. I don't know, like people will play.
Bit harder than Underlords because it's not just straight up reusing Dota assets, but yeah, like
yeah,
they can have a punt. I'd love to see him having fun.
But I'm sure there's a reason why that game isn't out. Maybe they just couldn't do it. It wasn't the right time. But we've seen the rise of free-to-play games for the last like 3 years, 2 years even. Maybe there's room for it now. So
yeah,
I'd be keen for sure.
100%. All
right, should we move on?
Yep.
What else we got here? We'll play Rainbow Six Siege. New update.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Year 5 dropped yesterday. I jumped in while I was waiting for a variety of people to get online so I could play some fucking Warzone. Let's see what when two new operators get like picked, like released rather.
Yeah.
Right. And it's always a shit fight to get your hands on the new operators.
Mm-hmm.
There was absolutely no competition for Iana. And after I played one map, I didn't pick her again. And she wasn't picked for the rest of the time I played. She was used in one round. My bad. She was used in one round of a map. And because I played 3 maps, they all went to overtime, although, it's overtime. It's not like Counter-Strike. Did you see the fucking Chiefs had an 80 round overtime the other day? 80 rounds. That's fucking insane. Or 79 rounds of some shit.
Yeah.
Lunacy.
It's generally usually what, the first to 13?
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah. And it just kept going and going and going. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. But they don't do infinite overtime, and they especially don't do infinite overtime in casual Discovery, which is what I was playing because they got the reworked Oregon. Anyway, so she was, apart from me picking her,
Yeah.
she was picked one round, and that was, I was defending at the time.
Right.
She's already not being used.
And so she's the one that is like able to send a decoy out into the world, and you can control the decoy, but the decoy can't shoot, right?
Correct.
And once somebody shoots a decoy, it disappears, and it pings them on their map, on the HUD. Is that what happens?
I don't think it. Well, yeah, I think it pings you like, what's her face? A bit like Alibi.
Right.
But
I'm just having a quick look.
like, it's not that useful. It doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, it doesn't bring that much to the table. Because like it's fine. It's good for scoping out roamers, but once you're through that phase, once you're past the point where there might be fucking roamers, she's useless. Like I don't think she's got good guns, and she doesn't bring enough to the fucking table for it to be worth the fucking effort, which is some shit, man. Like it's huge, because yeah, you compare that to other fucking like other operators that they're released, and like shit, like you still see even post nerf line still gets picked a lot. Gridlock gets picked a fucking ton. I think Carly gets picked. Carly was definitely picked more than Iana was. Like, and Carly's pretty. I wouldn't say she's bad. She's definitely not bad. She's just you got to have a specific fucking plan in mind to use her. But yeah, Yana, no, nobody fucking wanted her. She just doesn't bring anything to the table as far as anyone's concerned. As far as the casual games I was playing concerned, anyway. Oryx was picked every single fucking round. Every single fucking round. I think people just like the, I don't know, the utility of it. He runs through walls. He can also run through shielded opponents.
Like a Monty.
Like specifically Monty. He's a Monty counter, basically.
Yeah.
It costs him 10 health, and his vision gets blurred a bit. So it's not something that I think you would do, I don't know, to bust into a site, like to retake, right? But to rotate, definitely, you know?
Yeah.
And he climbs up through hatches, which was, I didn't find very useful on the new Oregon, because I couldn't find any of the fucking hatches. I don't know where anything is anymore. This wasn't just a tiny rework. They've remade this map, and honestly, I think it's worse. I do not like it as much as I used to. It's got these narrow hallways that are like side by side with other narrow hallways, and it sort of turns it into this like almost labyrinth of hallways. Like the big conference room, whatever the fuck it used to be called, is now like split off into like there's a hallway to kitchen and all this kind of stuff. The basements like chunked off into these much bigger rooms. Like you've got that laundry room that used to be a tiny little spot. It's now a lot bigger, but like takes up more space, comes out further, like that kind of stuff. And there's more. There's a third stairway down to the basement, and yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it so far. I really, really enjoyed Oregon before, but yeah, I guess like at most, I played a lot of Oregon. I don't know if they put it into the rotation more or what, but in the days leading up to the year 5, I played quite a bit of Oregon, and it just randomly came up in casuals, and like there were definitely some things they needed to fix and change, but at the same time, I feel like they've overcorrected. You know, they were understeering through the corner and they yanked it back too far, and now they're oversteering and they're gonna spin out or something. I don't like it. It's gone too far. I think I'm just there's yeah. There's just things I don't like, and yeah, I can't find anything. I used to know a lot of, just basic things. I could like mentally navigate my way through Oregon, and even spending 3 maps, like on it, 3 matches on it. I struggle to visually like. I think that's the other thing, like it's not even as visually distinct as Outback. You know how Outback has that very visually distinct style?
Yeah.
It must be a lot subtler in Oregon now because I can't fucking picture.
You are.
Yeah, like I know I can picture certain hallways. I just can't picture what those hallways link to, And yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer. What else? Everyone was saying that Twitch was getting basically a buff, but I feel like it's a nerf, if I'm being frank. I don't think... Like, you used to be able to really harass players, and now they just don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter at all. So it's literally utility, which is a bummer, because I think harass is a utility that people often like underestimate, and that's how it feels with this. Like the nerf to Twitch feels like it's eliminated her ability to harass. So even if she does get technically more zaps, and she's definitely able to take out mirrors and lesions and those mute jammers and all that stuff, right? Even though she's able to do that stuff, because she can't really annoy players, you're not able to like jump on a Twitch drone and then zoom on in and zap someone at the perfect moment while your teammates like fucking blap them. Because that was a huge portion of what I used to do as Twitch, was literally just set people up for the immediate fail. And I think that's what good Twitch players do. They also nerfed the what's her gun? The F2, F9, whatever the fuck. They nerfed that. There's more recoil, and I just don't. I don't like when they do that shit, because it reminds me of Battlefield 5's TTK changes. Like you mentally know how a gun works, right? Like you already understand pretty well how a gun will fire, and so you've got like a muscle memory. In Battlefield, you sort of auto switch to the next targets, and when they lengthen the TTK, you wind up like switching to the next target, but the first one's not dead. Stuff like that, it's just not good. That's the case with this recoil. Is that I had a drag, like a drag technique that I think was pretty fucking good. I'd start off low, and when I started the drag, it would be basically on the headshot area. And so I was able to black cunts a lot. But that doesn't happen anymore. It's way above them. And so I got to really fucking change that shit. Just, I don't know, annoying. Lesion, definitely a nerf, but not that big a deal, I found. Because I already played him pretty close to sight. And all of my little Lesion darts or goo mines, they're my babies, right? I actually didn't really... I think I was playing him as they always intended. I know a lot of Legion players used to run fucking, like, sprint off-site like they were Cav, to go dump their first Legion mine somewhere fucking terrible so that someone would get fucking zapped on the fucking entry and they would know where they were entering from. I never used to do that. I would have everything exactly where I wanted it so that I could use it for wall bangs, basically. And I'm still able to do that. Even on fucking Oregon, where I don't know, like, spots very well, I could still do that because I have a rough idea of like where my fucking like you just spray into the general area. As long as it's not covered by like it's not a reinforced wall, you can still spray into a fucking wall where someone's just been goo mined, and you'll probably fucking get them. So that worked out pretty well for me. Yeah, I'm a fan of that shit. Well, yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, it's definitely worse, but they get like they don't get the initial tick damage, but they take more damage, right? Which means that if you do like spray at them, right, they can't just take it out on the spot. They have to move, and so you will get ticks of damage while they're fucking getting out of the firing line, which is good, right? Like, it's just a minor adjustment. It's definitely a nerf, but not that big a deal at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Which, yeah, it's good, I think.
Yeah, it's less about information gathering as well. Like he was a big part of that. Having his goo mines, being able to, you could see them through walls or obstacles, like the entire map basically. And so you'd see one go off, and you'd look and be like, oh yeah, it's up there somewhere. Like you knew where they were. Whereas now you just hear the noise, and it could be anywhere, like in the vicinity you're looking.
Yeah, it could, but if you are particular with that, that's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I was very particular where I was putting them out, so I was still able to make the call outs as to where they were coming in from, because I wasn't putting down, like I would have them. I was on kitchen.
In a hallway.
Yeah, just in a fucking straight line. And I was in kitchen on Oregon, on the new fucking Oregon. I have no idea how to fucking describe this, but I had it in one hallway, the hallway leading to the tower, right? Like it's one of the new hallways. So I had it there. I had one over on the doorway to the entry. So you know the kitchen. It was bomb. Kitchen bomb has also the like lounge room bomb type thing. So I had one on that doorway. I had one on the bathroom hallway.
Yeah.
Which goes to the secondary tower type thing. And so I had those out, and they're audibly distinct enough, right, for me to be able to tell, right, I can't hear the one over in the fucking lounge room. I can, but it's far enough away that it's definitely not my concern anyway. I'm on B, right? Like, if everyone is dead on A, then maybe I will be concerned when I hear the fucking goon mine over there. But if everyone isn't, then it doesn't fucking matter. They already know someone's trying to come through that door. It's literally just because it's still fucking, you still get gooed, you still get the green. It's still startling. So it's good for that. But if I heard it on my left, right? If I heard on my left, I knew it was bathroom. And if I heard it on my right, I knew it was the hallway to tower. And so I was able to like still call out when I heard it in the bathroom. I called it out, and in the bathroom hallway, I called it out, and they knew exactly where to fucking look. Which was good. And the rest of my goo mines I just chucked around in the kitchen to fuck anyone who managed, because I was just alone on kitchen side, and nobody had reinforced. I went and reinforced the walls in the lounge room, and nobody reinforced any of the walls in kitchen. So I was pretty, like, it was going to get hairy pretty quickly if they wanted it to. So I had to lock it down pretty tight. I just decided, I'll just fuck with them if they come in here. So it didn't matter. Like, the way I figured it, if they walked on any of the ones in kitchen itself, I was probably already dead, really. So, it'd literally just be about harassing as best I could, fucking people up. But yeah, so the sound is like I still think he's pretty good for information gathering. It's just nowhere near as it used to be fucking insane, right? Like it used to be some wild shit. You could literally chuck it on one side of the fucking map and know it, like chuck one on one entry, one on the other, and you would know which way they were coming through on. and you could set shit up from there. But I never used to play that way because you don't get that much coordination in fucking casual. So what the fuck is the point?
Yeah, and that seems to be where they're nerfing it more in the casual side because it wasn't really a. You saw him a little bit in the pro scene, but not stacks.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to play Legion a lot. I did play Legion.
Yeah, I will pretty much exclusively continue to play Legion. He's my boy.
Yeah.
My shorty boy. But yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's that.
Cool. All right, and that's the first. Is it the first season? Season for year 5, and is this where they're going to single operators the rest of the year?
I think there's one more double and then 2 singles. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Interesting. Cool. Okay, we should move on then. We've got some other stuff here. I might just talk about some other games we've checked out. Grindstone, which is a mobile game on Apple Arcade that I've been playing.
Right.
Apple was kind enough to send through some a subscription for Apple Arcade, so I've been able to check out a bunch of big games on mobile. This one in particular is it's very similar to a game we've talked about before, and I'm going to quickly see if I can find the name. I might have actually deleted it recently, but it was one that Nate hooked us up with, and it's called Dungeon Raid, where you'd have like a screen full of skeletons, and you had to join. You had to like trace through on a grid swords, and then you'd trace through the skeletons, and in doing that, you'd do damage to the skeletons, and as you progressed through the game or through the level, the skeletons would get more hit points and more attack damage, and they would start fighting back if you didn't clear them, and then you'd be able to like connect more than 3. So you'd sort of like trace a route through using your finger, and they'd have to join in a line, but you could go sort of like as you progress through each round, it'd make stuff that you've already joined like disappear, and then the next, like, it'd fall down from the top and everything would drop down, so then you'd start chaining more things together. So that was Dungeon Raid, and that game basically didn't get updated a lot since then. It's very like, it's a game that I really enjoyed, but it just never really went anywhere on the Android at least. And this one, Grindstone, I installed it, and it's a very similar concept in terms of like a grid-based layout where you're sort of joining or creating lines to make attacks and get rid of enemies on the screen. Except this one is not really like it's not like a roguelike game, which is kind of what Dungeon Raid was. You'd sort of go through it once, and eventually you'd die, but you'd attain all this gear, and then you'd bring it back into the next game, and then sort of start leveling up. So instead, Grindstone, you start off with this character who enters the level, and there's a bunch of enemies on the screen, and they're generally different variety of enemies. And you can only create these lines or chains in one specific enemy type. But there are items on the screen that allow you to draw a line through them, and if you do that, you can then join onto another type of enemy and then go from there. So it might be like 6 types of enemy types that you can start attacking, and then you can join into this item and then start going onto a different enemy type. And as you do that, the higher sort of the higher amount of experience that you earn, like the bigger the chain, the more the better the items that you get. So it's more rewarding to start trying to chain a bunch of this stuff together, as opposed to being like, oh, I'm just going to kill 3 things at a time. And so you enter a level, and there's a certain amount of enemies that you need to kill, and eventually you can keep grinding that level if you want to, or you can just leave it. Like, you can work your way out the door and then go to the next level in the game. But what ends up happening is, the longer you stay, the harder the enemies get, but the more rewards you get out of it at the same time. because you've got a certain amount of life that you can take damage to as this character, and so you sort of want to stay there as long as possible. And then when things get a bit hairy, you can decide to leave and then go to the next level, or even visit like the shop and start upgrading your character, refill your life, and that sort of stuff. And so there is a bit of element in terms of going through and leveling up this character, getting new items to make you a bit stronger and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like, I've managed to get through maybe about a dozen levels so far. And I think there is like a roguelite sort of element where once you die, like, I don't know what happens once that happens, because I actually haven't gone through and done that, but I think you actually end up being maybe taken back to start and going through again, or maybe you just have to maybe you just start where you last died. But that would probably be my guess. But it feels like it's got more of a roguelite element to it, with all the leveling up they're doing and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's like an interesting spin on that type of game that I've played before, by having it sort of been broken up into these levels and like puzzles that you have to try and work through each time. And sometimes I'll throw in like different challenges in there, like, oh, there's a treasure chest, and once you get through a certain number of enemies, the treasure chest will open and then it'll contain some items in there, and then you'll finish the level and you'll be able to take those items and equip them to your character and that sort of stuff. So there's a bit more depth in terms of what you can do in Grindstone as opposed to like a dungeon raid, which is a little bit old now. But if anybody has played Dungeon Raid, it is very similar in terms of like the mechanics behind it, but they're sort of pushing forward the types of things you can do, and it does get a bit hairier, because you're controlling this character on the screen and creating these chains. Enemies on the screen don't necessarily, they can attack, but unless you're adjacent to an enemy when it attacks, you won't take damage. So there's a bit of puzzle in there. You've got to try and figure out, all right, if I end my chain here, I'm going to be safe on this next turn. Like, I'm not going to take any damage, but it'll also mean that if I don't clear enough enemies out, that the next round, like a lot more enemies are going to be raged and attacking at me. And so then you're going to start planning, well, where can I stop on the next, my next turn? Can I get through a big chunk of enemies, or am I going to get stuck here? And then, like, on top of that, you got to take into account where your character is on the screen space, because the door is at the top of the screen, and so you've got to try and work your way back up to the top again. And if you find yourself stuck in a space where you can't get back to the door and you're going to take a bunch of damage, then you've really got to think about that stuff. So there's a lot going on there in terms of the mechanics and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's it's called Grindstone. It's on Apple Arcade. I'll definitely be talking about a lot more mobile games on Apple, at least. There is stuff that I've installed on Android recently, but I don't think I've had a chance to play it. I'm just checking. No, I didn't install anything. I go through and check on mobile quite regularly, and occasionally I'll find stuff, but for the most part, there's not a lot out there that I really grabs my attention. But yeah, there's some stuff on Apple Arcade. Like there are some games that I've, like, sequels to games that I've played that I didn't even know existed. There's like a Crossy Road sequel or something that's out. That just came out, I think.
Really?
Like Crossy Road Tower or something. Crossy Road Castle, it's called. Yeah, it just got released like on Apple Arcade a couple of days ago, so that is out, and I believe it's got multiplayer as well. I think I was reading it does. Right. Yeah, so that is something that you can play with like solo. But it said it's a lot more fun with multiplayer. So I don't know anyone else got it though. But yeah.
Yeah, and you need Apple Arcade to play it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what Apple Arcade has introduced to me is I don't know, exclusivity on mobile games. Because
Yeah,
it used to be that games would only release on Apple because it was easier to manage, and then suddenly the Android market got a lot bigger. So, they for a time were only releasing on Android,
yeah,
or primarily releasing on Android. But now, yeah, with Apple Arcade, they're just straight up not releasing on Android. I can't play Grindstone on my Android phone.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it kind of sucks.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yep.
I guess at some point it might release on Android. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. The other game that I've been playing, I think we can talk about it. I've only played a little bit, but it's called Monster Train. Um, we both got codes for this. I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out yet.
I didn't get a chance to play it. No,
I'm just checking. I can talk about it. I'm pretty sure I can. Looks like I
I
can.
think you can. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure. Yeah, I think you're allowed to stream it even
yeah.
if you
Um,
wanted.
it's in beta at the moment, and it's basically a roguelike card, like a deck building game, where you are on what reminds me of like Snowpiercer. You're on this train, and there are enemies that board the train, and you have to try and deal with these enemies. Um, the way the layout of this train works is there's like three floors or multiple floors on this train. They come in via the bottom, and you end up placing cards down, much like a deck building game. Things like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, where each card that you put down has like a mana cost or and they've got attack damage, health on there, and they'll have some of them will have special abilities, or they could be spells and that sort of thing. And so you end up putting these cards down, and enemies coming through the bottom floor, and you've got to try and battle them. And what'll happen is if you end up not being able to kill the enemies on the bottom floor, they then move up to the next one. So it's like a split into lanes. And I can't really talk about like Artifact at all and sort of how that system works, but it reminds me a lot of like Marvel Legends, the deck building game, where
Yep.
is that what it's called?
Legendary, maybe.
Legendary. Yeah, where enemies would come up and attack you, and if you didn't deal with them, they would move on to the next position on the board, and then more enemies would kind of come in, and they would end up
Yep.
progressing further and further through the game till eventually they would start attacking like your main base or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the way this is working. They move through each floor in this train, and eventually they get to the top where they're able to do damage to you as a player. And so you end up putting down these cards, having battles with these enemies, and eventually you get to a boss enemy. There's waves, and if the boss is able to clear out an entire floor, it basically negates that floor completely. That boss moves to the next one, and you can't put any more cards down on that specific floor until eventually the boss can work its way up to the top deck, the engineering deck, which I'll call it. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, and then they'll start doing damage to that specific, to your health. And you've got to try and stop the enemies from doing that in a certain amount of waves. And so that's kind of where the game begins. And every time you end up finishing a round or one of these levels, you go to like the next part of the screen where you're able to attain new cards to put into your deck. And then you're given the opportunity to go to shops and purchase either newer cards or upgrade your existing cards. There are weird like little things where you can give money to possibly get an artifact. It'll be like a 10% roll. Like, give us 25 coins and you've got a 10% roll of getting this item. And if you don't get it, then give us another 10 gold, and now you got a 15% chance or a 25% chance. It kind of escalates every time you do that. But the idea is that it's as you progress through each level, you're building up your cards, you're getting more cards, you're leveling up. And then I'm guessing what'll happen is it'll be, because I haven't actually died yet in this game, but once you die, you're getting some sort of, either knowledge or accumulation of the stuff you've already gotten and sort of taking it back with you and starting again from scratch. I don't actually know how that part of it works yet because I haven't lost a round. I got very close to losing a round earlier today, but I've played like 6 or 7 levels so far. I managed to survive all of them at the moment, but yeah, it seems really cool. Like it's got a really neat art style to it. The cards are very reminiscent of like a Hearthstone style. They look very much like a Hearthstone card, but it's a very unique style of gameplay that I think I would definitely be keen to play more of it because it seems a bit more, I don't know, strategic, or like there's a bit more going on as opposed to just battling somebody else. Like you've got to think about positioning of these cards, like where you put them, because you can only put a certain amount of cards on each level of this train. So you kind of like want to tank at the front and then a damage dealer in the middle and maybe like a healer at the back or something else. Like there's different combinations of where you can put these cards because they sort of attack in a specific order. So the guy at the front will attack first and also be attacked first. So you kind of want your heavy health characters at the front line to soak up all that damage. But from what I've played so far, it seems really cool. I don't actually know when the game is going to be released, but they're aiming for some time in the next like 4 to 5 months on PC. But otherwise, no specific release date. But it seems pretty cool. It's called Monster Train. There's a beta right now on Steam. So you can go to the website if you want to check it out and sign up. Maybe you'll get into another closed beta at some stage in the future. But that one's been put out by Good Shepherd, so they've done some good stuff in the past, and they always come through with some cool games for us to check out.
Yeah. I'll have to jump in and have a look at it. It looks like the sort of game that'd be pretty fucking killer on mobile.
Yeah.
If you could get enough information across,
The only thing I'm not sure about, and maybe something that changes, is I don't think it saves your runs.
Right.
It didn't seem like there was a save button, but maybe it's saving it on the fly.
So it almost sounds like a bit of a... Yeah, that's not good. It almost sounds like a mix of deck building and tower defense, which is a cool idea, right? Like,
yeah. That's why I'm saying I don't really know, because I never played Artifact. I don't know how like the lane stuff worked on that. But
sort of, like it's sort of like that, but not really. Like, yes, if you got through a lane, you would be able to attack the core, but or ancient or whatever. I think, yeah. But that's not like you weren't cascade like they weren't making their way up a tower.
Like a tower, yeah.
Yeah. That's not how Artifact worked. It was very much just like there was no levels to it. It was just one level for them to overcome, and then they were through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've played like roguelike games where you're with the RPG sort of elements and positioning matters, that sort of stuff, where where I've seen that sort of gameplay element, but I've not seen the two sort of combined.
Yeah.
I talked about one recently, which I couldn't really remember. I can't even see it on my Steam list. I'm not sure what it was. It's really popular. It must be on one of my different goggles.
Describe
like that. Where you're in a dungeon and you go from like level to level.
Describe it better than that.
I don't know. Like I've played so many of these types of games that
Good
they're all
lord.
blending into one. I know there was the Battle Chasers one, but that's not really what I'm thinking of. It's something before that.
You're in a dungeon and you go level 11.
It was a roguelite. We were in a dungeon and you go to there's like towns.
That doesn't describe anything.
Yeah.
And there's towns. We're getting somewhere. Keep going. What's the art style?
I'm back in January last year now.
Fucking hell. Okay, well, you didn't play it recently.
Felt like it was recently.
Is it on Epic? Did you get it for free on Epic?
Oh, it might have been Epic, yeah.
Golden. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Monster Train. Yeah, I definitely think you should check that out. Maybe talk about it next week.
Alright, I'll do it.
Because you're the card expert here, but
That's me.
It seems unique. Yeah. Alright, what else do we have here? ESO.
Pick something. Yeah, so I jumped into the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know. I was expecting some sort of reaction, but I guess not.
Well, I know at one stage Nate wanted to play quite recently. I might have even installed it, and then he never came through.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess I did it because... So, I was looking, like, because, you know, I'm full freelance now. Like, full freelance games journo now. And I was looking at, I guess, areas where, you know, there's opportunities that aren't really being attacked. Which I think is something that Nate must have gone through at the same time, but he just doesn't have... Like, MMOs just aren't Nate's bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not his sort of game. So I think it was probably a more of an uphill battle for him. MMOs are less my bag than other people, but yeah, I've been known to get addicted to a game or two, and ESO like really made a fucking lot of sense because like it's fucking huge. I think it's, depending on who you ask, either it or Final Fantasy 14 is the second biggest fucking MMO in the world. Like, or Western, in the Western market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those two, like, go toe to toe pretty regularly. I've done stories on Final Fantasy before that have been fucking huge. They've gone gangbusters. Like really fucking popular, and it's definitely an audience, like it's an underserved audience. And so I was like, you know, maybe I should, you know, check this out. Then, you know, I look into it a bit more, and they're doing like the year is the Dark Heart of Skyrim. So like, you know, Skyrim makes it even more palatable from a fucking audience perspective. This is all fucking very inside baseball shit. Mm-hmm. Basically, the reason I got into it is because I figured I'd be able to get some work out of it. As someone, you know, writing about a game that doesn't get written about but is extremely popular. So yeah, that was basically it. Decided to jump in. First things first, if you are going to jump into the Elder Scrolls Online, you should go and download, I cannot remember exactly what it's called, and I don't want to bring it up because it'll probably dick about with everything, but just go get, like, Google add-ons and get a mini-map add-on, right? It should be pretty easy to find. There's a mini-map. The game doesn't come with a mini-map, which is the fucking craziest thing I've fucking seen in forever. I do not understand. I think we played for, like, fucking... I can check that easy enough. I'll check that on Steam easy enough. I played that for 7 hours the other day without a minimap. Probably 6 hours without a minimap, and then an hour with a minimap. Like, fucking my mind being blown at how much fucking better it is. But, like, literally going from spot to spot and, like, tapping M and thinking about remapping M for my map to one of my mouse buttons so I'd have quicker access to it, right? Like, that's how fucking essential this button is like, the button that I'd normally, like, I use this thing for, like, melee and shit in other games, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should put the map on that because then I don't have to fucking keep reaching over to fucking pick out my map. Like insane shit. Anyway, the best part about this add-on is that it boasts that it is extremely lightweight because all it does is rewrite a couple of lines of code that block out the minimap. There's a minimap coded in to the Elder Scrolls Online. They created one. And then they blocked it out for some reason. And all this does is unlock a feature that they have decided to restrict from the game for the last couple of years, which is mind-blowing. I don't know. It's a fucking crazy thing to do. But anyway, so we played like that's it, right? That's probably my biggest complaint, and it was very easily fixed. I fixed it in moments. The other add-on I got was one that made all my loot. I have no idea why. I'm sure it's for, you know, people who enjoy the, like, you know, what that Elder Scrolls feeling. But all of your items are in a fucking straight down list, which is the fucking first thing I mod in Skyrim. Literally everyone, every time they play any Elder Scrolls game, is like, let's get a inventory fucking mod. A mod that makes my inventory work better than me scrolling endlessly through a fucking list. Yeah. That is how it works in TSO. So I got an add-on that fixed that as well. But apart from those two things, yeah, it's good. And like those, yeah, I guess those two things are literally just Skyrim-y things, right? Like, or like Elder Scrolls-y things. Things that people who want the Elder Scrolls experience want, but functionally are terrible. Like, there should be add-ons for, like, there should be an add-on for a more authentic Elder Scrolls inventory, right? That turns it into a dumb list, not the fucking other way around. You shouldn't be fixing things. People should be able to break things if they really want to break things, right? For their immersion or whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, those are the two add-ons. But apart from that, yeah, like, went through, did, like, you got to do, like, a tutorial type thing, and then play with some friends, Doug and Ness. They're, like, MMO experts. And they've played a bunch of ESO. They've also played a bunch of,
WoW. Like,
shit tons of WoW. And, yeah, like, basically just jumped in with them. They started new characters to play along. They had like a vague idea of where we were supposed to be going, which was quite helpful, but at the same time they were being specifically unhelpful in not telling me where we were supposed to be going. So that was pretty good as well. You know, I guess they were trying to let me like discover things on my own and whatnot. But yeah, it was like good fun. The moment we stepped out of the first fucking town, there was a fucking dragon fighting 40 motherfuckers. Like, literally just a world boss straight outside the front door. It was insane. And I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's go in. And I'm like fucking I think I was level 3. You get to level 3 by the end of the tutorial. I fucking wander in and just start fucking swinging at this dragon. It's still in like an area of effect attack that does like 99% of my fucking hit points in one fucking go. And it's like pulsing. So it does like bang. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I run the fuck out again. But I did get a hit on. And it died like fucking, I don't know, 40 seconds later. while I was like running around in circles, just trying not to get hit by anything.
Yeah.
And
but
you're
level 22.
Like, basically, I walked out of that fucking fight with, like, 3 blues and 2 greens and all this shit. I'm like, well, that was worth it. Like, fucking hell, yeah.
You tagged
yeah, I tagged, and that was all I needed to do. It was fucking spectacular. It seems like all mobs are scaled and stuff. So, even if, I don't know if they've got high characters on the same server or in the same alliance or anything like that. But even if Doug and Ness were to play with their higher level characters, it doesn't seem like it would matter all that much. Right. Because, yeah, it all scales to, like, relative to your character level, which like works pretty well in the MMO setting. I've never felt like it worked very well in the action RPG setting, but I think it does work in MMOs because it allows you to just sort of run into, like, you see a fight, you join a fight, which is pretty good, and like anyone can help anyone. It creates a sense of community out of essentially a lot less.
Yeah. Because I put it in recently. I'm not going to say that because I'll get shit. But yeah, when Nate was talking about playing it, so I installed it and I jumped in for a little bit because it's free to play.
Oh, yeah.
At least I think it's free to play now, right?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think it's free to play. Anyway.
Yeah, they've got like ESO Plus or something, right?
Yeah,
like,
and I think I might have some of that because I bought the game originally and it might have given you something like that. But anyway, I do remember the starting area was very different to what it was when I played it. I don't know how that's got to do with the character I chose or like the alliance. If every sort of area is very different.
I think it's been updated, right? I think because they like changed to like elsewhere, right? Yeah. I think that's what it was. Like the new season changed the starting area. I think
it was like a desert town or something.
Yeah.
Where I started
with
this time
with cat people everywhere, Khajiit all over the fucking place, right?
Yeah, and dragons and shit.
Yeah, that's the place. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
I think the last one was like you started a dungeon, like you're in a jail or something.
The classic, classic ESO starting. Oh, Elder Scrolls starting. But yeah, like it doesn't. Yeah, like it makes sense. I didn't pay too much attention to the lore, which I think is one of those things, right? Like some people love the lore in MMOs and they chew it all up, and others click. Just let's go. Tell me where our quest is. Where's my quest? Let's go.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't found an add-on for it, but that's something I probably use as a better fucking quest tracker because it's got like a quest up in the top, like you can see what quest you're currently on, and you can change it really easy with the T button.
Yeah.
But I prefer to be able to see all my fucking quests at once, so I can just keep track of that shit a bit easier. On the other hand, it is like they are still like, even if you don't have it currently marked, it is still on your map, so you can still see if you're near another quest, even if you're on a quest, which is obviously very good. Like, there's some game we were playing like semi recently, where I can't remember what it was, but there was a game we were playing semi recently where you couldn't see what quest you're on unless you had it up, and I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't Borderlands, was it?
Yes, it was. But you can like in that one you can switch, but that would change on the map.
Yeah.
Whereas on this, they're all on the map and you can see them whenever. But you can have the details of what you need to do by pressing T, which is good.
Whereas Borderlands was just show you on the map the one you're on, and you'd have to go to a different screen, click on it, and then come back and be like, oh, okay, this one's not nearby either. And go back. Yeah. It was very tedious.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
For all the quality of stuff they did, they missed that one.
Yeah. Anyway, so we just sort of cruised around. We made our way to level 10. We were going to queue for a dungeon, but we sort of ran out of time. 6 hours to level 10 to be able to queue in dungeons is pretty good. It does the Elder Scrolls style leveling up stuff where like the more you use something, the higher level it is. So I got to like level 12 in 2 of my skills quite early, and the other one was like level 6. And but like by I think level 12 you're able to equip like a ultimate ability, which is pretty good. I didn't find that we were running into a lot of like, except for running into dragon fights we probably shouldn't be engaging in. I never felt like I was in like under a great threat of dying, but I think that area is more balanced towards solo play. And because we were playing as a terrible trio, I think we were outmatching shit quite a bit. Like, we had Doug like doing fucking like a healing circle, so I could just sort of stand and deliver. But I don't have So I want to play tank, but I don't have a lot of like threat building at the moment. I just don't have those skills yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to do basically DPS as fast as I can. I've got like I only just recently acquired like a pull target ability. Like yeah, I'm like not well geared, well equipped to be a fucking tank at this point, but I like it'll get there. The main problem is even my pull target is literally just initial aggro. I can't out like there's a very good fucking chance that I am just like maybe ESO doesn't work that way. Like we had a look at the group finder, and you can definitely queue for specific roles like DPS, healer, or tank. You know, the Holy Trinity. But yeah, maybe maybe there aren't threat meters and stuff. I like in my cursory glance at the add-ons, I didn't see any like threat meters or anything. So
Right. Maybe
like,
it's just like shield, like a giant shield.
yeah, and yeah, so I couldn't. It can't be that a fucking tank has to out DPS people to maintain threat. I'm just not sure how to do it yet. So I'm gonna have to fucking look into that to have any fucking shot at doing it. But yeah, like it's tricky. Like the upside is that Ness and Doug were both like ranged. So as soon as I did lose threat, they would like the target would start to run away towards them, and I could just sort of pop all my CDs and try to out DPS them. Although they were doing so much DPS that I never had a fucking hope. They had an easier time with the dragons as well, actually, because they were ranged. The dragon does like a constant aura of fucking damage, and then we'll turn around and like punt everyone. But most of the time, he's just like as a melee dude, I'm running up with my sword and like having one swing, and then because we must have killed about I don't know after we killed one dragon, anytime we saw a dragon fight, we're like we're going in, because why the fuck wouldn't you, right? Like, you may as well. All the gear we got from that first dragon, useless.
Yeah,
it's useless.
Yeah.
Like, but it doesn't matter. Like, it was such a fucking epic moment. Like, such an epic encounter right off the fucking bat that it didn't matter, right? Like, the gear was cool. It like, I understand it's extrinsic motivation horseshit. Like, from a itemization perspective, I'm happy because I got something fucking blue and shiny, but it didn't really matter. I was more happy about the intrinsic motivation of participating in a fucking cool fight.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And every time I see a dragon, I'm more keen about the dragon fight than the loot. Like, if anything, the fact that all the gear has been immediately unmatched actually makes it like lessens the effect that the loot has, because it sort of rewires the concept of the loot as far less important than the participation itself, which is pure intrinsic motivation systems, which is good. And yeah, so we roll around. Just fucking womping it up. We finally made it over to the main big city. You don't become over encumbered. It just won't let you pick up more loot.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
I don't have a big problem with that. But I did find before we at around level 9 or something, I was junking a lot of shit. I was just like straight up destroying stuff. Because I'm like, yeah, I can't carry anymore, and I'd prefer to be able to carry something worthwhile. So I'm like, sort by like not even like value, just vendor value. I haven't looked into the markets, the auction market, if there is an auction market on ESO. I assume there is, but I haven't looked into it yet. I'm presuming trash I get from the starting area isn't going to sell for very much on the AH. But like, I already have, like, they do set items and stuff, and with set bonuses, like right off the bat, which is really fucking cool, because I think that's a really interesting way to make you rethink your own itemization. You might take, I've got I think it's like a helmet on, that is worse than another helmet I've got, but it gives me my 5 set bonus.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I always think set bonuses in itemization are probably one of the best ways to make people really look into what
what
they're
you
wearing.
got as opposed to damage numbers. Because
Exactly.
I'm
Like,
playing the Division 2 at the moment, and
yeah,
it does that where you could have it's not necessarily like a legendary or a purple. Like these are green items where if you have 3 of the same sort of like manufacturer, then now you've got, plus 20% headshot damage and an extra 400 health or something. And so you end up getting something else that is maybe one level higher than that you could put on, and it might give you a bit more health, but then you're losing these other 2 set items. So yeah, I think it's a good way of making you think, like, is this actually better, or because it's got a higher number on it, or am I going to lose a lot more? So yeah, I like those systems a lot.
yeah, yeah. Like, because so often it's real easy to fall into the trap of just number chasing. Right?
Diablo does that as well, right? Where you don't pick up anything that's not a blue.
Yeah, exactly. Although in Diablo, I guess sets are always a different color.
Yeah,
which
oranges
or green, right?
Oh, were they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure green.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But like, yeah, here you've got like sets across the spectrum. Like I've got like a green. What's it called? It's like the I can't remember. Like some sort of fucking Undertaker. The Undertaker's set, right? And I've got like a green chest and a blue pants, but they're all part of the same set. Yeah, like got my hat, my Undertaker's hat, like fucking big fucking cowboy hat. Yeah, I've got this whole it's across the spectrum, so you could theoretically get better versions of the same set as well. I mean, I literally just picked up I think it was like a blue ring maybe, which broke another set, but the overall benefit was such that it was better for me to wear the ring of the Undertaker or whatever. Yeah, it's like it's a good approach. I'm very keen to play more. You should jump in.
Did you ever jump in and play like the Star Trek or Star Wars stuff at all?
We definitely played Old Republic way back in the day. Way back in the day.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did enjoy the Old Republic quite a bit. I think the only thing, it wasn't enough like KOTOR for me. Like I think I had an idea in mind of what I wanted, and it wasn't that. So I think it was soured by my own perception of it. I didn't play much Star Trek Online. I don't really give a fuck about Star Trek. Fucking Picard. I've stopped watching it.
Yeah, right. Because I don't know what we talked about, but I did install both of those within the last 5 weeks, and I have played some of that, both Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yep.
I feel like I don't know, they both offer like different types of interesting things for their, like, I like the ship combat stuff in Star Trek, but I don't think the ground based stuff is as interesting, like the combat stuff. Whereas Star Wars feels a lot more like a WoW experience, or like your typical MMO. So anyway, I'm definitely like dabbling in that stuff. It's gotten busy again recently with games. Because I was looking for something back then. It was like February, like late January. There's nothing out. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should jump into an MMO. And so I installed both of those, which was a dilemma. I installed Star Wars. I couldn't get into Star Wars because my account was locked. And it was... Sorry, no, it wasn't locked. It was attached to my old authenticator on my other phone. And so I had this process of like calling up EA, which wasn't hard. Like they fixed it for me over the phone. But
really?
I had to call them. I couldn't do it online. Anyway, so while I was waiting for that to happen, I installed a different game. But I'm always looking for, like you said, there's not a lot of MMOs. The Final Fantasy one, I'm interested in that, but at the same time, isn't that a subscription model? Like you have to pay monthly?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. Is it Final Fantasy 14?
14, yeah. Like when I did writing, when I wrote about it last year, I didn't even I wasn't even playing it. I was literally just doing interviews and stuff.
It's apparently free to play up until a certain level.
Right. Yeah, that does sound correct. Or like, if you want a second job, I think that's where the cutoff is. Like, you can get a second job in it. There's a lot of complexity to that. That was though, like, I did play it on like created accounts. If that makes sense, like not my own account. I didn't play it at home. I played it at at events, and like it's good. Like it's a really, really colorful, like gorgeous MMO that plays like quite well in a traditional sense. I remember fucking carrying the fuck out of the journos who were with me simply because I'd read the fucking text on my skills.
Yeah.
Like they'd set these things up so that you can basically just 1, 2, 3, 4 in the traditional sense.
The correct order.
But like, yeah, I read the text and I was like, oh, well, if I do like 1, 3, 2, 4, I might actually be able to like stun them before they murder everyone else, which was extremely useful because the rest of the people playing were pretty useless. Yeah.
So
anyway,
is ESO the servers based in North America?
Yeah,
right.
They're based in North America. I haven't noticed any ping issues or anything, but I haven't been playing PvP. I guess I just probably won't play PvP.
Yeah. It's not usually that big a deal anyway.
Yeah, like, you know, I like PvP because I'm, you know, naturally combative, but yeah, I don't think it's a necessity. And yeah, the world is interesting enough in TISO so far that I'm happy to just knock through some PvE.
Yeah, cool.
Check it out. And check out the Dark Heart of Skyrim. If they do the reset thing again, where you start like in a different starting area because the year the Dark Heart of Skyrim begins, I believe, with the first expansion in May.
Okay.
If and when that happens, I'll definitely create a new character, just start in Skyrim, because I believe they're doing like the vampires and stuff, which was always a fucking brilliant portion of Morrowind and Skyrim, in my opinion, like a killer addition. I wonder, like, was that in Skyrim? Was that a mod in Skyrim? It was definitely a part of Morrowind. It was like an expansion in Morrowind, that werewolf vampire island. But
right,
I think
I never played Morrowind, so
missed out, man. You can still play it today. Probably fucking sick. Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah, nice. Next up, you've got Exploding Kittens, the board game. Or
yes,
card game, tabletop game.
Card game, yeah. So I got Inhuman Conditions, and we were gonna play it at the pub, but then I forgot to bring it to the pub.
Right. One of those.
By pub, I mean Akasha Brewing is the brewery that's around the corner from me, and so yeah, I forgot to bring it. But they had a copy of Exploding Kittens, so we grabbed that and we just played that instead. That game is fucking hilarious. I've played it before. I'm pretty sure we talked about it then. But yeah, no, it's really good, and the drunker you get, the funnier it gets. Although it struggled to get funnier than while we were doing all the shuffling at the start. You like to set it up, you take all the Exploding Kittens cards out, you shuffle the deck, you deal out the cards, and then you shuffle the Exploding Kittens back into the deck so that nobody accidentally gets an Exploding Kitten right from the start. We forgot to put the Exploding Kittens back in the deck. But
they super easy.
We're like, fucking, it's going to get pretty fucking hairy in those last 10 cards. Everyone's going to explode. But we, like, someone to put in the extra, like, there's expansions. There's Imploding Kittens, and there is another expansion. like naked kitten or something. I can't remember. And the expansions change things up. For example, there's an imploding kitten card, which yeah, I like it's like when you pick it up, you put it like facing upwards at the bottom of the deck. Or back on top of the deck. So you get it and you put it facing up on top of the deck, so that the next person to pick it up would have to like basically like it's theirs, right? And you cannot use a diffuse card, which is the normal way you get rid of an exploding kitten. Is the diffuse card? You can't use that on it, and so we had we didn't even need exploding kittens in this fucking deck. This one imploding kitten card was well and truly enough to fuck us. Like, we got it, like, in the top third of this fucking deck, and it was a major hassle until we got to, I think, the last 20 cards, and we were legit like, I cannot, like, the crazy thing is that we still haven't seen an exploding kitten. And then I'm looking at all the cards on this table, and I'm like, what are these? And I flip them up, and it's the exploding kids that were supposed to be folded into the deck. I'm like, right.
Maybe so, you shouldn't tell me about this.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, awesome game. So I went and I bought it.
Cool.
I bought it.
Yeah, I got a copy too. I think that was ours that you played previously.
Yes, it was. Yeah, but I also got the expansion, Imploding Kittens.
Nice.
And I bought the other expansion, whatever the fuck it's called, but it was in back order, so it'll arrive in a month or so.
One, right?
No, I didn't get the not safe for work version. I just got this is the party pack, which is good for 10 players instead of the regular version. I think it's for 5. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, keen to play it some more. It's a good game.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Okay, next up we've got Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is a game we talked about 2 weeks ago. Just to refresh people's memory, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a sequel to 2015's Ori and the Blind Forest by Moon Studios. It's a Metroidvania game where you play as Ori, and this one in particular follows up pretty soon after the events of the last one, where you take in an orphaned owl, and in the process of teaching this owl how to fly through bad parenting, you end up being separated from each other, and you're, I guess, trying to get back to Ku, the little owlet. And from here you end up basically in like a Metroidvania style game where you acquire abilities and skills, and as you progress through the levels, which are all interconnected, you get more abilities that allow you to get further in the maps, and you do a bunch of backtracking, and yeah, you go from point A to point B through this story that they're trying to tell. We talked about this, as I said, a couple weeks back. I had a chance to play a bit of the first act of like the first 2 hours of it, and had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Microsoft was kind enough to hook us both up with codes, very early release codes, so thank you to them for doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've both had a chance to play through it. I ended up starting the game on Xbox because it wasn't available on PC when we got codes. It was still they were still working on that one. But yeah, I kicked off my playtime, and the game is a lot of fun. Like, I had a good time with it. There's some really good platforming stuff in there. The combat is alright. Like, there's some interesting ways you can sort of address the combat. Because I think you and I were talking about it in just our chat sessions, and like the way you were approaching combat was very different to the way I was doing combat. And even up until the point where I got pretty close to the end of the game, like, there is stuff that I had not unlocked or even tried to use that, you know, you don't have to do it. You can kind of just play it the way you want to do, and I think that's an interesting way to approach that style of game.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's very linear in terms of where you want to go and what you can unlock. But like it'll gatekeep certain areas from you. But it's not like you need to go and buy a special ability to get past a mainline objective. It's
No.
very much like, all right, you finish this part, now you get this ability, and that'll allow you to access other areas and stuff that was inaccessible to you before. Maybe now you can go and do that. So it does a lot of that sort of thing. You know, you get an ability that allows you to borrow, and there are certain areas in the world that you can use this ability to get further into the map or to get to secret areas. Or you'll get like a glide ability, and that'll allow you to get from very high locations to a platform somewhere else that, you know, previously was not accessible because you didn't have that glide anymore.
Yeah.
So like it does a lot of that sort of thing to the point where yeah, you can just have a different play style compared to somebody else because of the unlocks that you can actually buy at a certain point.
Or acquire,
Yeah.
even.
So that stuff is really cool. As we said, or as I said a while back, I think it's a tremendous looking game. Like the art style, the way they sort of do it, it looks so much better than the last game they've done. It's a really fantastic looking game. And just like the 2.5D nature of it, the way it's sort of, you know, it looks like you're on one plane, but it's definitely really interesting the way they kind of like, I want to see what that map looks like on a like a 3D scale, because I just don't understand how they've done it. It just it's very it's a very unique way of doing it. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's outstanding. There's not much else to say about it. The story, I think, is really interesting. It goes in some incredibly dark places that I was not expecting, and then on top of that, I was just where it kind of ends up as well. I don't like. I think that is also an interesting place to explore where it kind of ends up at the end of that story. So, because I definitely wasn't thinking it would go there. I kind of thought it'd go into one place, but it kind of did go in that direction, but then shifted another like hard left. I was like, all right, fair enough. That's an interesting way you can kind of do that. But aside from that, I think, and I don't know if you want to talk about your experience with it, and then we'll get into like the technical problems maybe after that.
No, I go for technical problems first
Yeah.
because I feel like we're going to argue. So
Yeah.
we're still united on technical problems.
Okay. So the Xbox version of the game that we got had some pretty bad performance issues to the point where I was thinking about not playing it anymore. Because the game was dropping. It's on Xbox One X, which should be running at 4K 60 frames per second. It was getting 60 frames, but it was dropping significantly throughout a lot of the game, down to somewhere in the 30s and 40s, sometimes even lower in some sections I noticed, which is affecting combat pretty badly and platforming.
Like,
you know?
it's not the 30 frames that affects the combat, it's the drop, right?
Yeah.
That's the part that fucks you, right? It's not the if it was locked at 30 frames, it would be obviously noticeably worse, but it's the fucking
it's the 60 to 30 to 20 to 40 to 60 to 30. Like it's just so jarring.
If it can't be consistent, then you can't get a fucking good feel for how it's supposed to play.
Especially when you get like some of this platform is timing based. You got to be
like a lot of it.
And when the game is jerking all over the place, and you know you're going from 60 to 30, it can be hard to hit some of that timing, and you just feel like
you're in a boss fight chase where you've got to fucking nail each like a non-stop string of fucking perfect jumps.
For like a minute and a half.
And you're like, oh,
that's not your fault. That's not your fault. You missed that. It was the game's fault.
Do this again. If it's gonna fuck me like this.
And because that's constantly happening, I was just like, man, maybe I just have to wait for them to patch it. But they ended up sending through a note. I checked it in the morning, and the PC version went live. I fired up the PC version, and it was solid, like 140 frames on PC. No issues with the performance at all. Did not miss a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. In saying that, I've had a lot of other technical issues that I was experiencing on the Xbox to begin with as well. This is obviously pre-release code, not including the day one patch that they were going to release. So
The 2 day one patches.
yeah, they I wasn't able to pick up energy cell fragments. There's 2 sort of resources in the game that allow you to level up a little bit in terms of life. So you can get 2 life fragments, and that gives you an extra life bar. Or there's the energy, which gives you more energy. And I wasn't able to pick up the energy. Well, sorry, I could pick them up on Xbox, but it wouldn't give me the bonus stat. Like, it'd just make them disappear, and I wouldn't get a notification to say, hey, you've picked up a cell fragment. You need 1 more, and then that'll do. Like, it would just go. Just gone. When I switched over to PC, I couldn't even pick them up. Like, I'd run over the top of them, and that was it. So that was pretty frustrating, like trying to play through the entirety of the game and not being able to have my, I guess, full energy bar. Like, I've seen people's energy bars, and it's nuts. Like, it's ridiculous.
I got all the energy, and I think I've got like 5 times as much energy as you did.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking ludicrous.
And it became hard because, like, I got to the first boss fight, which was in the water section, and I was struggling in that part because I didn't know what to do. Like, I was running out of energy for the abilities that you could use, and there was an energy crystal that you could attack, and it'd give you like 3 more cells, whatever. But I ended up having to draw that fight out so that I could beat this boss.
So you could like wait for it because it respawns every 30 seconds or so, right? You'd have to wait for it to respawn. Yeah, that's fucking insane.
But for the rest of it, it was okay. It was just boss fights, or like if I needed my energy. What about the
dark section? How the fuck did you get through the dark section?
So yeah, you were talking about this, and I feel like you missed something. The fireflies.
Yeah, the fireflies were fine. They didn't go underwater.
Underwater? Oh, you got the flash ability.
Yeah, so the flash ability burns more energy than anything in the fucking game. I do not understand how with fucking 3 blips of fucking energy.
To, like, a percentage of how much you've got, because it wasn't burning very quickly for me at all.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
'Cause it was fucking hammering. I was like, holy shit, Luke's fucked. There's no way. Like, I don't know how the fuck he's supposed to get through this. I guess, like, technically, like, the only thing I was thinking was, technically, they would make it so that you could never pick up, like, they would definitely make the game so that you could never pick up any of those energy things and you'd still make it through, right? Like, just functionally, I'm certain that they would do that. They would not lock it off. But
I think it's a percentage-based drain.
Yeah, right.
Because it wasn't quick at all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was hammering for me. Yeah, I was like, well, good luck.
So that was a big technical.
You also couldn't. The other thing you couldn't have done was the heal, right?
I could use the heal, but it would only,
right?
Yeah, once or twice I get away with it.
Because it did like 3 blips of energy.
Yeah.
Per heal, didn't it? No, it did 1 full blip for 3 healths, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to use much of that either.
I was playing on very hard mode.
Yeah, fucking hell.
The other bug that I had was there's a attack or an ability that you get, which is like a dodge move on projectiles or even enemies. So you hit the bumper button and it comes up with like a little directional area where Ori's going to jump and the projectile will shoot out. I had this bug where when I entered that state, it's supposed to slow down time and give you 3 or 4 seconds to try and figure out like which direction you want to orientate yourself. When I initiated it, and this wasn't all the time, it had happened rarely, but it happened enough that it was pretty annoying. It would instantly shoot me across the screen in a direction, but I could still move myself around. And so I'd be at the edge of the screen and I'd be like flinging around in circles and I couldn't see where I was. That would become a problem where there were obstacles in the way, like vines and things trying to hurt you. And all of a sudden, I can't shoot myself in a direction because I'm at the wall or the ground and
Yeah.
in the ceiling. That was happening in. I've had that happen in 2 of the boss fights where.
How did you do it in the last boss fight?
It happened in the last boss fight.
That would be fucked. That is literally everything in the last boss fight.
But in the boss fight I was struggling with, the first one, like I'd be getting really close to beating it, and then all of a sudden, like I'm through. It would glitch out at the point where it'd show me outside of a wall sometimes, and like in weird spots, and eventually I'd come back and bring it in. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough.
I have no idea how you came away from this game liking it more than I did, because Jesus Christ. I would say, roughly the ideal experience. I did have one, for some reason, literally at the end of the game, I couldn't pick up one of the energy blips. The second last energy blip, I could not pick up. The second last one I found, I couldn't pick up. And
maybe you
I
got all
to
the
pick
ones.
up that one.
Maybe I picked up 2.
You prick! You stole them from me. Yeah. Which literally all it did was fuck my ability to get the achievement for all energy. And then when I logged in after the second day 1 patch, I had all the energy. Like, it registered that I'd picked it up.
Right.
But I don't think I didn't get the achievement. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm not finished. I've still got more
sorry.
bugs.
Oh, my lord.
The other one, which you were also having, was it was freezing, like for about a second or two, and I noticed that it was happening usually when you'd exit the map, which you use the map a lot in the game. Most of these problems are on Xbox. I'm talking about on Xbox One. The only problems I had on PC were the one where I couldn't pick up the orb and the flinging me around in weird spots. I had both of them on both versions.
Those are the 2 biggest problems you had. But go on.
Yeah, and so the one where it was stuttering, like it'd just stop in midair, and you'd be like, "All right, now we're going again." That was happening on the Xbox. It wasn't happening on PC, but the day 1 patch that they were saying was going to fix a bunch of this stuff. Didn't look like it fixed that particular problem. It didn't fix the performance issues because I was still getting significant frame drops. It didn't fix...
The day 1.1 patch fixed it, though.
Which one?
Yeah. The second day 1 patch.
The second day 1 patch, I don't think it's fixed anything for me.
Really?
It's definitely made the performance problems better.
Right.
But it's still getting frame drops. It's not hitting 60.
Yeah.
And it's not hitting anywhere...
Or not staying at 60. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still dropping at points. It looks like the slowdown is much better, and I think they're doing things like removing enemies from certain parts of the game to try and limit. Because there's an enemy that's not there anymore that was there at one stage. I don't know.
Is it your favorite enemy?
Finished the game and they're changing.
Like Dark Souls, you've killed it so many times that it won't spawn anymore.
Yeah, it's just given up. So they have fixed the performance in some spots, but it's not hitting 60. I can tell you that. Unless my game is just like so fucked that it's just given up. The freezing seems to be gone when you're exiting the map, but I did have it once or twice. I put it on Twitter, like as I was just going through testing this stuff before I jumped on and gave my opinions. Like they said, the day 1 patch should fix this. It was freezing still at that point, and this is not after exiting map. It's just me jumping around. So that happened. And then there's this second day 1 patch, which was another 5 or 6 gigabytes. And I don't know what they've fixed in that one, but it hasn't fixed my energy bar.
Yeah, right.
And I'm done with the game, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Not every time they release a patch, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, when did they fix that yet?" Like in my opinion, that game should not have been reviewed as highly as it was. Everybody was experiencing performance issues unless you were playing on PC. And the people that did review it and mentioned the performance issues didn't knock it for any points. They were just going with the fact that it was going to be fixed, and the patch came out and it didn't fix it.
There was one review I read, I think it was Ars Technica, who did knock it, who said this will be... Oh, and maybe...
Power Up Gaming.
Power Up, yeah.
Gave it a 7.7, and we're getting slammed on Reset Era for giving it a 7.7.
Yeah.
Because of the technical issues.
Yeah.
Like, people were saying that Microsoft said that the patch will fix it. Like, you can't knock people or you can't knock the game for technical problems that most people won't experience. And the patch didn't fix it. The patch came out, and people were still having that problem.
You know what I think it was? Because I found that there were technical problems on the PC, right? But only after I fast traveled a shit ton.
Right.
Because I went through a period. Remember when I got fucking hella lost, right? And I decided I was gonna like 100% until you fucking worked out where I needed to go next. So I did all of the game except for the Mirkwood and then the portion after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't work out where to go in the Mirkwood because the fireflies take you down, right? And it like led me down all the way down, and there was a portion under the water that I could see I should be going into, or I felt like I was the next place I needed to go into, right? And then, but it turns out what had happened was that, like, by pure coincidence, the I for whatever reason just not gone far enough over on the map to, like, because there's like three layers of this map. Yeah, it's got like blacked out, so there's no map. Then there's a fog of war once you buy the map from the map guy, and then there is the uncovered map, right? And in Mirkwood, you can't buy the map until you get to like pretty deep into the fucking zone. But here, right, when it's blacked out, it just looked flush. It just looked like it just didn't go any further across. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't go that way. I've got to follow this fucking firefly down. And follow the firefly all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. I get down to the bottom, and it's some fucking inconsequential pickup that didn't really fucking mean anything. And I'm like, this should have, like, I should have gotten the ability that I need to, like, uncover the rest, like, to do the rest. I don't understand, right? And so then I spent far too much time diving into the water and trying to swim around as much as I could. But once you get into the water, right, when you're trying to explore the rest of that fucking area, when you're trying to explore the area without the firefly, because eventually the firefly disappears.
Yeah.
When you're trying to explore it without it, you can only stay within the light. And so you can shoot arrows, which, by the way, I've got a real problem with the fucking arrows being, because the first, like, when I first went out, I had that ability where you put a thing up from the first game where you put a little spirit that shoots.
Sentry, yeah.
The sentry. I put that up, and that didn't count as a light source, even though it's the same color as the fucking arrow. That really ticks me off, right? It should work as a light source 100%. It wouldn't be a very useful light source, but it'd be fucking something. Anyway, so like, I just wanted something so I could not shoot arrows the whole fucking time, because I wasn't shooting arrows in combat, right? When I was in combat in that fucking area, I was not using arrows. I wasn't using the sentry either, but, like, at least I could do my regular combat while the sentry was there giving me a light source. Didn't work. Anyway, so when you're in the water, you can't shoot fucking arrows, so I was cooked. I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do, because I don't have a light source anymore. And I tried everything, right? So I went back, and I just started fast traveling around the map, unlocking literally everything I could. Because I'm like, I suppose the fucking solution must be somewhere.
You're missing an item somewhere.
Yeah, I'm missing the key thing that will allow me to. The key thing being the flash ability that you get in the Mirkwood, but I didn't know that. So that drove me fucking bonkers. Like, that did my head in. But what happened when I fast traveled all over the map? I was, like, literally going from here to like fucking all over the place. Just like, literally getting rid of the fog of war or all over the place. I think I'm at like 100% for almost all of the map, almost the entire map at this point. because I was just getting rid of, like, it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter if I didn't think there was going to be anything there. I just uncovered the fog of war, and I didn't find what I needed. I found out that there were no, I'm getting ahead of myself. What I found was the more I fast traveled, the fucking worse it got. Like, the fucking framier it got, the more it dropped frames, the more I got the halting thing on PC. Like, it was just shitting its pants. It seems like a memory leak issue, or it had a memory leak issue. I didn't really notice it after the second day one patch. I did notice it a little bit after the first day one patch, because I deliberately fast traveled all over the fucking place just to see. I did the same thing again with the second day one patch, just for due diligence. Didn't notice it. So I think it's fixed on PC, but yeah, like, it was, something was wrong with fast traveling in that game. Was fucking up the game. And the other thing was, like, I think I ended on 3 hard crashes by the end of my run on PC.
Yeah, I had like 2.
Yeah. I haven't played it enough to see if I got another, but I didn't get any others after the
game
the day one.
Does save very frequently, so
yeah,
it's not a huge. It would have been a problem on the old game, on the first one.
But 100%. But what I was noticing also was when I reload into the game, that initial loading screen, where Ori is just sort of Naruto running somewhere, it was 6 frames a second.
Yeah.
Like, that loading screen itself was 6 frames a second, and after the third crash, 2 minutes long. Like, insane. So there was clearly something wrong with going wrong there, like 100%. But like I said, I'm not going to play through the entire fucking game again just to see if it's fixed. But my gut says that on PC it is fixed. Yeah. Like, glitch wise, that was probably the biggest thing I noticed, was huge memory issues after fast traveling and shit. And I was like, but that, like, I guess the other thing is I was fast traveling way more than
probably needed,
most people would. But yeah, I had a lot of other problems with the game beyond that.
Yeah, sorry, just to keep talking about that specific thing you were...
Still more glitches.
Right. No, not the glitches, just the light thing.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, just to elaborate a bit more, there's an area in the game, or areas in the game, where it's darkness, and if you're in the darkness too long, you get killed. And the first time I found one of these caves, there's a guy out the front that's looking for like a lantern, right? And I'm like,
an acorn. Like, the lantern dude is separate, like semi-separate. But yeah, go on.
But anyway, like, you get him a thing, and then someone else has got like a lantern, and I'm like, oh, I need to find this lantern. And then you find the lantern, and then he needs like a lighter or gas or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is the thing that's going to let me go into these areas. But anyway, I spent a bunch of time in that actual cave because I'd unlocked it, and I didn't have the item, but I figured out that you could pull out your crossbow and just glide. Like, you didn't even have to fire arrows. You can just pull it out, hold the button down.
Oh, really?
And you can still move around and press A. So I navigated the whole way through, and then I got to the water, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? And so what I was doing was I would just quickly swim through, but it wasn't enough. Like, I couldn't get there, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to be here yet. And then when I got into the section, the actual section that's entirely dark, I didn't have any problems at all navigating that, because I got the flash ability once you finish that area. But in saying that, like, that's a problem with a bad disconnect between someone giving you a side mission that says find the lantern and having a section that's entirely dark, and me being like, oh, I need the lantern to get through the dark section, and it having nothing to do with that at all. Like, I feel like a design issue, like a really big thing that they should have.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That is literally the same. I made the exact same fucking connection, like the exact same fucking connection, and it is a faulty fucking connection. I don't, like, if it's a red herring, it is a mistake to have a red herring there, because it is so close to that cave. Like, he is literally just above it, right? Like
Yeah.
he isn't. He's not the dude just outside the cave, but he is literally above it,
Mm.
and you can't do that, right? Because it's a puzzle solving thing where like the game has serious issues with breadcrumbing, with the fucking leading thing.
Yeah.
You know, it has a real problem with successfully, intuitively telling players where to go next. And it's not just like it's not a problem I had on my own. I had no idea about the bow thing. When I did the exact same thing as you, I was shooting
arrows.
the
That's what I
fucking
did
arrow
the first time.
and then fucking belting through and like dashing, shooting, landing, and
Yeah.
like it was basically the most hardcore fucking parkour in the game because you couldn't adjust. You never had time to adjust, so every jump basically had to be fucking Super Meat Boy, jumping between spikes because you had to land successfully so that you could jump again and then fire the fucking bow again, or fire the bow on landing. But you couldn't keep shooting the bow while you were going because you lose too much momentum as soon as you fire the fucking bow.
Yeah.
Like your entire momentum. So you had to literally fire the bow exactly when you wanted to stop. And so it was insane fucking run. That was obviously entirely incorrect. I didn't like you. Once I worked out where I needed to go, I didn't have any fucking problems at all. Once I uncovered that little blip in the map, I had zero fucking issues navigating it because I had basically practiced it the hard way the entire fucking time. I'd done the fucking I'd already waxed on and waxed off my fucking tits off.
Yeah.
Like I was fine. There was no challenge at all. That section, right, except for being lost for the entire precursor of it, was probably the easiest in the game. Like, it might well have been. I genuinely thought you were going to have huge problems with it because once I got Flash, because I had fucking 40 fucking energy bars, like, it was draining at an incredible rate, but it didn't fucking matter because I had so much fucking energy because I'd gone and found every single little bit of energy already. And yeah, I was trying to find the fucking light for the lantern. And so I was walking around, I'm talking to fucking little, what are they called, Mokies? I'm talking to every fucking Moki I can, talking to every fucking NPC. I'm like charting which Mokies I'd talked to already, which ones I'd spoken to already. When I like got past that bit, suddenly I knew even better where I needed to go next because I'm like, oh, so he got his like lantern, and I think he gave me some string. Oh, okay. I don't know where the string is because I spoke to every fucking. I know where everything is now. Right? This guy needs string. This guy needs water. This guy needs a heart. This guy needs a brain, and like I'm the fucking Wizard of Oz running around and fucking hooking everyone up.
But who needs? I gave the string to the fishing guy, and he wouldn't
fishing
take
guy.
it.
Yeah.
I think he kept asking for a net still.
No, he wanted the
I
string.
don't think he took mine. He kept asking for it, and I was like, I don't know what I need then. I need a fucking net, obviously. Right. It's like silk string he gives you.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take it.
That was the string.
Wouldn't take it. Cool.
Yeah. The like it goes way beyond just that. I mean, yeah, it wasn't just me that had these problems because we were in a chat with Nate, and Nate had a lot of the same fucking issues. You didn't seem to have these issues, or you?
The only one that I had, and I also had this during my preview session, which I thought was maybe this is where the preview ended was. I think the game does a terrible job at explaining the projectile ability, like dodging projectiles, and then the only reason I ended up getting back to it, I was like, oh, I remember this from Ori, like the blind forest. Yeah. When you jump, the projectile goes behind you. I don't think they explain that in this. At least
not
it
even
wasn't
a
in
little
the
bit.
builds we played. No. So when I played the preview, I got up to that section, and I was like, I don't know where to go next. Like, I kept getting to those purple doors and being like, all right, cool. I'm not sure where I go. Maybe this is the end of the demo. And then I got to the same section when I was playing it, and I was like, no, I'm missing something. Like, and I ended up running around for a while, and then eventually I got back to that spot, and I was like, I can't figure this out. Like, it hasn't told me what to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then eventually I just like, oh, maybe I projectile a dodge it the other way, and that worked. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it didn't tell me I needed to do that, which is weird because it tells
absolutely
you
didn't.
a lot of the time it holds your hands for a lot of stuff.
That's so much worse, in my opinion. The degree to which it holds your hand makes those failures that much worse, because it then feels like, right, if it's like, oh yeah, if you're gonna make some cordial, right, here, I'll take you over to the cordial, and I'll take you over to the cup cupboard, and I'll take you over to the bench, and anyway, make some cordial. And then you, like, the little kid in you, like, pours a fucking bottle of cordial out and drinks like 16 tons of sugar. Yeah, and you're like I love it, right? Like, it's green and I've never felt so alive, but I feel like it's green, motherfucker. It's green or orange at best, okay? I don't want to fucking hear it. Nobody's drinking red cordial. Red cordial is for delinquents. Yeah, like, you're like, oh yeah, no, I just feel like something's off here. Like, this mustn't be the way you drink cordial. And then they're like, no, of course you add water to it, right? Why wouldn't you add water to it? And you're like, well, you never fucking... You showed me the cup cupboard, you showed me the cordial, you showed me the bench, like, you showed me everything else. If you then don't show me the water, that seems like it's more your fault than it is mine, right? Like, yeah. I'm not crazy here for drinking a cup full of fucking cordial. Anyway, I drank a cup full of cordial, and I'm feeling pumped. Yeah, like, it's 100% Ori's fault, and it does it multiple times, and it does it in ways that are, I think, much worse as well. Like, there were, you can go, if you want, dear listener, go read my review. I wrote out a lot of thoughts on this. I think it's like 2,400 words or something. But basically breaking down, like, the way it does this. Like, one of the things it does is it hides, like, mission critical items in secret areas, which is crazy. That is fucking insane. There were, like, I said this in, I'm pretty sure I didn't edit it out. Like, when I was playing Superland, I would, like, do whatever I could to break the boundaries of the fucking game and jump out of the fucking limitations of the game world. Yeah. And I'd get out there and I'd find, like, a coin, and it was rad. And, like, coins are not at all necessary to continue. If you want to continue in Superland, you find, like, the red key and the blue key, and, like, that's it, right? Like, there are a couple of abilities that you need, but the game always gives you enough coins to buy those abilities. If you do need them, I think it's like double jump. But yeah, like, otherwise, right? You never find anything that is necessary for fucking progress. Like, not a single fucking thing. That happens in Ori, where I had triple jump, and so I did a triple jump, and then, like, a fucking dash, and then I managed to, like, latch onto I had the shard ability where you don't just bash through projectiles, you can also bash through enemies. So I managed to, like, latch onto a fucking one of those wasp things, and then that launched me again, and I was then able to triple jump again, and then I land, like, and then dash one more time, and I landed somewhere. I'm like, here we go, this is going to be my second bit of fucking energy, and I get more energy. And I land, and there's a fucking keystone there. I'm like, how the fuck is this how you're supposed... Like, that, there is no fucking way I got here correctly. Like, there is... And then, so I got it. Obviously, I didn't jump back down and try to fucking work it out. But I got it and jumped back down and tried to work it out, right, after I got it, just to be clear. Right? And I'm like... That's it. That's how you fucking get that, right? Like, I just pulled off some shit, right? Like, I felt like a fucking genius, and that's how you're supposed to do it, right? Like, how the fuck is that correct? That's crazy. That's insane. oh my god, I can't fucking believe it. Because tonally speaking, it's a game for kids, right? Like
The
it's
aesthetic. This is what I was saying. You look at that game and you're like, oh, that's a really like cutesy game, and you play it and it kicks the shit out of you.
it's yeah, like the fucking story is like and then like it's like fucking but you look at its shadow, like the light shines on it in a specific way, and like the light and the shadow is this big fucking monster, and you're like, holy fuck, what is going on here? Like I don't understand. Who is this for then? Who's the audience of Ori and the Will of the Wisps? Because it isn't kids, despite the storytelling style, which is specifically for children. Uh, but like, is it for adults then? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, fucking crazy shit, out of control. How wild some of the shit in that game is. That bit where you're like dodging the fucking owl, right? It doesn't make enough distinction, right? Once you mentally connect background and foreground, right? But you have to like you don't look at the game like that. Like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the game like it's background and foreground, right? But there is an entire section of that game that you can only get through by mentally breaking down background and foreground, and then after you successfully complete that bit,
You just run.
you just need to run. And if you if you mess up, like that is, it's not perfect jumps, but it's near perfect. You need near perfect jumps. And so if you fuck up those near perfect jumps,
Yeah, you think you're going in the wrong direction.
you're like, well,
I had
that's
the
not
same
it.
thing. Yeah, because I was
That's
like,
cooked.
oh, I'm not supposed to be here. Like I'm missing something again. But eventually, after like my third or fourth try, I was like, oh, okay, that was what I needed to do. I was just too slow.
I was just too slow the first time.
Yeah.
I was just so supposed to randomly decide to continue to attempt something that has failed me repeatedly. Right? Like, yeah, oh well, I'll go try that thing that didn't work last time. Maybe if I'm perfect this time, it will work. Right? Which is a crazy approach if it isn't correctly signposted, right? Like you can do it, right? You can have it be you have to be perfect, but you have to fucking breadcrumb that shit. You have to lead people to understand that they have to be perfect with their jumps. And if you do not like before that sequence, before you get to that sequence, to even get into that area, you have to have like a bunch of platforms, like have a section where all you need to do is run as fast as you can to get past something, right? And then have a section where you need to jump perfectly to get past the section, and then have a jump left, a jump right, and then a perfect run, and like, or two jumps right, and the first jump has to be perfect, and then a run, right? Have that before you get into that section, because otherwise nobody's gonna like, it's literally trial and error at that point. It is literally, that's not puzzle solving in my opinion. That's fucking throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and that's not good puzzle solving. It's specifically bad puzzle solving. Which is, yeah, it's crazy coming off the two most recent fucking platformers I've played were I've played more Cronkerio, and where you've got fucking parkour maps where people are custom designing levels where they're doing that, where they're like, first you have to jump from wall to wall like you're the fucking Titanfall pilot, right? And the platform that you're jumping from is a person thick, and then it's half that thick, and now it's 1 pixel off the wall. It's literally just enough for you to make the run, and to make the jump at the end, you have to time it perfectly. And like even before that, it's showing you walls with pixel width fucking platforms. Like even before that, like or the other one is fucking Doom, where like it was again exactly the fucking same. It's like, okay, well, these platforms are going to disappear from underneath you. These platforms, you need to you like the fucking what's it called? The boost replenisher, or the dash replenisher, right? Will only work if you do it this way, right? Like it fucking breadcrumbs you. It fucking and fucking Ori 2 is a fucking puzzle platformer at heart. That's the fucking bread and butter of this game. And they don't even do that. That's fucking crazy. It's insane. I feel like I've said it's crazy, it's insane a lot. I like that exact phrase. It's almost a catchphrase. But like seriously, it blows my mind that it is the way it is because, yeah, it wound up with me feeling lost a lot, like really lost, because I felt like I just didn't, I couldn't like, the game wasn't telling me.
Yeah, it feels like to me they went too far in one direction. Like the last game was very fast paced and catering to a very specific audience, right? And then this one, they were like, "Oh, people found that last one too hard. We're gonna change the difficulty. We're gonna put a bunch more signposts in there, and like that sort of stuff." And then you get to this one, and it's like a weird spot in the middle where they haven't figured out like which side they want to go on.
Yeah.
And so it tells you to do some things, and then it doesn't tell you to do other things. And so when it tells you to do the really basic stuff, or stuff, or not even that stuff that is like, "Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that unless you told me," or like, "I would have puzzle figured that, like that's like a little puzzle thing I would have figured out." And sometimes it does that where you do something, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And then on the other side, they're like, they don't tell you the projectile thing, like how to dodge something and the projectiles will shoot, how to open this door. You just kind of figure it out yourself. I feel like people are gonna get stuck there.
The stomp mechanic. Fuck that. That is so fucking. That's dog shit, right? You cannot have the one you have to buy, right? And you have to upgrade the skill from the dude that you buy skills from, right? Because that's a fucking core ability Ori gets through the progress of the first fucking game, and it's locked behind something you have to purchase and upgrade. And so when I was going through, like, how the fuck do I do this shit? How do I get the fucking lantern, right? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I guess I need to stomp through these fucking floors, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, well you just use the hammer. You got the hammer, right? I'm like, if you're lying about this fucking hammer, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
The hammer was the first thing I bought.
Oh, it was not what I bought. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. What fucking hammer? How do you get a fucking hammer? Why would he have a fucking hammer, right? And it's literally the stomp mechanic from the first game, suddenly locked behind a fucking something you have to purchase, which is this crazy. It's insane. Like, no, seriously. Like, what the fuck, Ori? Now it's locked behind. Oh, there was that and the rocks. I have to solve a puzzle based on some rocks that are out of focus in the background. Yeah. Get fucked, right? It was explicitly simple. Once I worked out that I wasn't supposed to be trying to read the rocks, which is what the guy says he needs to do, right? Once it's literally just, they're different. Yeah, fuck that puzzle. They're different sized rocks. Huh? And, like, I'm like, well, I guess, like, is there notations on the rocks or something? Like,
or do you need an item to read them? Like,
yeah. The other thing I went fucking looking for, because you do find a fucking tablet. You find a map tablet. I don't know if you found this.
I did, yeah, with notes on it or something. Yeah,
fucking cool. Fucking knobs. And then you fucking work it out, and you're like, right, cool. Anyway. Well, that was simple. And then holy fuck that shit. God damn it. I was so grumpy about so much of this game just because I felt inadequate, right? Like, I felt like a fucking dipshit because when you get through it, like when I got through the Mirkwood, when I found the tiny part that happened to be like I had accidentally flushed against the wall, right? When I found that, I'm like, oh my God, this is so comically simple.
Yeah.
Like, how big a fucking dipshit am I that I couldn't fucking work this out? And there's that's the other thing, right? Like, there's a significant chance that I am there. That worked. Good work with the old blinds. You really fixed that. Now they're just still in your fucking eyes. Anyway, yeah, like, there's definitely a chance that I am ascribing some of Ori's fault, some of my own faults to Ori, right? I do not expect that I should be able to get every puzzle on the first try. The idea of a puzzle is that you have to, like, work them out, right? But if you're going to have a fucking dickhead bird standing there specifically leading me in a different direction, that's a fucking dick move, right? And yeah, if the entire crux of me solving an area is that I jumped far enough to the right at one point instead of, like, falling directly down to the left, the only reason I worked out the Mirkwood was because I fucked, like, when I went back down to work it out for the 40th fucking time, because there wasn't any, like, there was no fast travel bit down there either. Yeah. Like, you don't unlock a fast travel down there until fucking forever. So if you're doing the Mirkwood, you're doing the fucking Mirkwood, or you're giving up and going back and then making a long trip back down. The only reason, was because one time I strayed far enough right to see a platform that went in a different direction. Like a piece of land that went off to the right. The rest of the time, I'd been falling, like, literally trying to keep up with this fucking firefly as it fell, and I'd missed it. And, like, that's cooked. It's just not how you make a fucking puzzle game. Seriously. So anyway, yeah. Even if it was technically flawless, Ori wouldn't be getting a fucking 9 from me, or an 8. If we did scores, if I put a score on my review, I suppose I could have, but I just didn't. It would be a 4-point scoring system, and I would give it a 2, which is not a 5. In the 10-point system, it would just be a wait for a sale, essentially. Yeah. I don't think it's essential. I don't think it's essential playing. It's gorgeous. Like you said, fantastic soundtrack. Although I did imagine murdering all of the audio designers every time I failed a race, and it would play that fucking musical sting at the start of the race again. I actually had to stop. Like, I did, because I did all the races, and by the second last race, I actually just took my, like, I turned the sound off on my headphones. I just didn't want to hear it anymore. I didn't want to hear, like, I didn't even fuck anymore. I was just done. Because I knew I was going to fail the race a couple of times, and I just didn't want to hear that. While it, like, reset every fucking time. And also, I didn't need a fucking path. I didn't need the path of the fucking race every time I reset either.
Yeah, it's a long time to get that going again.
Let's go. Like, just fucking... Could I please just do this race again? I know I fucked up. It's bad enough that I have to wait 3 seconds to start it. Let's just go. Especially on some of them where, like, by the end, I don't know if you noticed this, but they were pretty reliant on... No, the Waterworld race. It wasn't the end. It was actually pretty early. I just didn't do it because I figured it would be a cunt. The Waterworld race, the opportunities to differentiate yourself. I didn't watch the #1 player in the world, but the opportunities to differentiate yourself, I don't know. I guess I've just worked out how I watched one person who was #1 in the world, and they were like 4 seconds faster than me. I'm like, I don't even fucking understand how. I think it was in, like, the snow area. I'm like, I just got no fucking, like, how? How did they even move that way? But I realize now that they had an ability that you get right at the end of the game, and being giant fucking wieners, they went back and did all the races so they could beat everyone's time. Yeah. Yeah. That's how you do the section, because you got to do the Waterworld race is you got to jump up those bubbles.
Yeah.
Right? And you bounce off the bubbles, and you get a lot of height out of them. But the timing of the bubbles is fixed, so if you were to do it without extra abilities that you could get right at the end of the fucking game, your capacity is limited. Like you basically you cannot outpace the ghost or the developer until after that section.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're locked in. There's no going faster than it, because that, like, your ability to do that section is set in stone by the where those bubbles are at any one point in time. Right? If you were to go faster, then you would hit the bubbles earlier, and if you hit the bubbles earlier, you would hit the top bubble at a point. I literally did this at a point where you can't make the final leap. You can't get enough height to get there. So yeah. I don't think that's a good race system. I don't know. And it was very tedious trying to match my pace with the ghost. Because I could definitely go faster, but then you reach the bubbles and you're like, oh, right, okay. Well,
Right.
I'm just gonna fucking wait for this ghost. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I feel like if I was doing a written review for it for a publication and I needed to put, at first I probably would have said I'll wait for the day one patch and then I'll put a review up. But because the reviews were embargoed for before the release, and if I needed to put up a score, it probably would have been, I mean, Leo put, I think he gave it a 7.7.
Yeah.
Mine probably would have been about a 4 or a 3 at that stage. And he was getting shit for his review.
Yeah.
Like, I was having way too many technical problems, but aside from that, like, gameplay issues where it was affecting how I could play the game.
Yeah.
Like, some of that stuff has been fixed now, and it, you know, if I was forced to put a review up, because reviews can be very, for publications that need to have a review up before embargo, because that is like their bread and butter.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't read reviews after the game's out. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you've reviewed a game too skewly in one direction, and then you'll cop shit for a week.
Yeah.
About how you're a giant fanboy. But yeah, I probably would have been given it
until the next game is released. But yeah,
I probably would have 3 or 4'd it at that stage because it was too broken in my opinion. You know, a broken game to me is not a 7 or a 6. It's much lower. They obviously did fix it in the day one patches, but the performance stuff. But at that stage, like, I had too many issues that were affecting my gameplay, that affected the way I experienced that game. Which, at the end of the day, I can't magically forget that and be like, oh, they fixed that now. Maybe it'll be better. Like,
you're reviewing your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I buy a car and all of these cars have a fucking spring and every once in a while pokes you in the ass, you know, that's not good. But, you can deal with that. Like, it's fine. They'll fix it eventually.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, no, it's coming. They've got, like, a seat fixer.
Yeah. Or the car violently just, like, pulls itself to the right every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, it's not everyone's going to have that problem, just some people. And they might fix it for you. No. That's like, that's what that's the problem I'm having. There were too many problems. I said this. It's probably the buggiest game I've reviewed in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a really long time. I feel like they needed another month and a half, maybe 6 more weeks to polish it. They, like you said, they had 2 day one patches. The first day one patch did not, I don't know what they did, but it didn't seem to fix anything.
No.
The second day one patch didn't fix it all, but it improved. It improved stuff. So I think I don't know how it's running on the default Xbox platforms, like your Xbox One and your Xbox One S.
Yeah.
But
apparently not great.
Yeah. Xbox One X, I've seen some of the people that do like benchmarking tests on it. Doesn't seem to be running great still. And for me, having way too many technical issues, it's pretty disappointing that all that stuff happened. But I can see like there's definitely some really cool stuff that game is doing that I think is a lot of fun. I just think they needed more time to fix up some of these design problems and then the performance and technical stuff.
That's the thing, man. Like, those are, like, it has design issues, like game design issues. These, like, my problems with it aren't technical, they are fundamental, right? Like, yeah, I don't know if you could fix them. Short of getting the gap to pre-review your game for you, like, yeah, I don't think you could. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I saw this stuff when I previewed it. I saw, like, the projectile thing. I just figured that I wasn't supposed to get past that bit because it was a preview.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
the only reason I knew what to do was because I remembered it from the first game.
Yeah, same with me. I remembered it.
Yeah. And it was basically my bread and butter as well. Holy fuck. Those combat shrines? Like, that's 90% of how you fucking do them. Yeah.
And
holy
bosses.
shit. Like, yeah, and bosses as well. Like,
but the game doesn't tell you.
No.
Or at least the version I played did not tell you. The two versions that I played, it did not tell me. I'm not going to go back and see if they put a tutorial in there now.
Yeah. Or just fix the text on the tutorial that exists. Yeah.
Or make it obvious. It doesn't teach you. Like, there's a bunch of situations where you get a new ability and it teaches you. It doesn't teach you that you need to fire these projectiles at a thing. So, anyway, it sounds like we're very much shitting on this game a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it as much as I think you did.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate it. I really, really liked parts of it. I just...
disappointed.
I'm staggered at the mistakes, at the missteps it makes.
Yeah.
Also, unskippable cutscenes. I wrote about this in the review. Probably more than I should, but fuck, I hate unskippable cutscenes. Oh my god. And they were so useless in Ori. They were so misused. They had to be hiding loading screens. But holy shit, man. Like, a static image of a giant frog yapping for fucking 30 seconds? Why is that unskippable? All these, like, he's not talking. It's not like they got fucking Sir Ian McKellen to do his fucking voice work. You're not trying to, like, let people have the gravitas sit upon them while this giant frog says some shit, right? I'm 90% sure it's gibberish. All right, it's a made-up language. There's subtitles on the screen already. I'm allowed to skip through some text in the game already. Why the fuck do I have to watch this giant frog talk? Oh my god, that drove me crazy. And it happened quite a bit. There was one cutscene that I thought I was okay with being unskippable. A single one. And maybe one that I could hear arguments. One other that I could hear arguments for. But otherwise, I should have been able to fucking tap through that shit constantly. I did not need Mokies to show up every time I went to a new area, stop me from walking places, and go, oh, the water's clean. Clean. So clean. Fresh and clean. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you little cunts. I don't give a fuck what you say ever. Fuck them. Fuck Mokies. Fucking little pricks as well. Like, just a little bag of dicks. Yeah, anyway. Cool.
Fair enough. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is out now on Xbox One X, Xbox One, PC, and Game Pass as well. Play on Game Pass.
Play on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that's that game. And we got one more here. We've been going for a while. But this one is insane. It's a game that actually came out.
I don't believe that we've got this last one on the list. I don't understand how we could.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone actually came out. 7 months after we said Battle Royale definitely existed.
Yeah.
7 months after the two of us went to the multiplayer review event and walked away and both literally wrote, there is going to be battle royale in Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
They won't confirm it, but we guarantee it. 7 months after people on the internet definitely called us into question and called us out over our certainty on this, Call of Duty Modern Warfare has a battle royale mode, Warzone. It's 150 players, squads of 3 for some reason, and it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
The people that make good multiplayer games made a good multiplayer game.
I'm shocked. Although what I am, because they're by the same token, people who are exceptionally good at marketing did a woeful job at marketing this. So like
Terrible job. So this leaked, It leaked
leaked so far.
I mean the day before it actually, because I mean
Oh,
there's
yeah.
always been
Right.
leaks about this thing coming and whatnot, but they were trying to do the Apex style launch of surprise, this thing's happening, whereas Apex, there weren't, maybe the day before, or there was murmurs about them doing something. That is because
Yeah.
they'd had flown in a bunch of content creators and media to play the game and give them feedback on it. But that did not leak at all. Like, that wasn't on websites everywhere. This was a YouTuber who accidentally posted their video 12 hours early and full on revealed the game.
Yeah. They didn't even like accidentally post it. They posted it unlisted, and they must have shared it
To a
for
friend.
yeah,
And then
Who-
someone shared the link.
a former friend, I assume. But like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been leaked so many times. It's almost like unthinkable. Like the amount of times people have been like, 7 months ago, we were like, definitely a battle royale. Listen to the way they talk about, or they won't talk about it. And then a couple of months later, and they're like, oh yeah, there's rumors. And then a couple of months later, and like, oh yeah, it's definitely coming. It's called Warzone. It's got 200 players. And then a week or two later, oh, here's the map. A week or two later, oh, this is what they're doing with it. It's definitely
people
coming out this day.
data mining the updates and
Yeah.
it's references to
People
stuff.
accidentally like queuing into the fucking tutorial for it and all this kind of shit. And then then this dude leaked it again. It's Leak Central.
Or he announced it. he
Yeah,
officially
basically.
announced it.
Yeah. But I hope that dude doesn't get punished too hard. Obviously, he's under NDA, and Activision reserves the right to fuck him as hard as they want. But it wasn't.
This is Activision's fault as well.
It didn't
like,
seem
from the
malicious.
marketing.
Yeah, that too, and yeah, like it was like so much of it was already out there, and yeah, he posted unlisted. Like it's the only way for them to do a lot of their job. It'd be like if I sent through some embargoed fucking review and
Yeah, Google Docs or something.
yeah, and someone shared the Google Doc. It'd be like yeah, obviously that's my fault to some extent, but you understand it wasn't my intention, right? Like anyway, so it's out. Or was it?
It is out. It's out now. It came out yesterday.
Yep.
It was available for I think 4 hours for people that had purchased Modern Warfare.
At 2 a.m, apparently. I thought it was 1, but it's 2 a.m.
Well, it was
For
over here
Australia.
in PDT or PDS. I don't even know. We're in daylight savings time over here now. It was 8:30 in the morning, or somewhere around then. And then they gave about a 4-hour buffer for people to jump in and play it, and then the ones that wanted to jump in, because it's a free-to-play game, were able to download the client for the Battle Royale, or for Warzone, and they could play it at that time, which is, I think it's a good way of doing it, because it alleviates the stress on everybody jumping in at the same time. You've now broken it up into 2 sections of like, maybe shit falls over at the beginning. They can push that 4-hour window back further until they solve the network issues or that sort of stuff. You don't have millions of people jumping in all at the same time and just crashing the servers, which is something I didn't experience. It ran
6
completely
million,
fine.
by the way.
They've announced it. 6 million.
6 million. Yep.
Yeah.
6 million players in the first 24 hours, which is
we jumped in at
more
one
than
stage.
twice what Apex had.
We jumped in at one stage and we had a couple of issues with maybe one game where it was a little bit laggy for about 10 seconds, but otherwise it's been pretty. I haven't had server disconnects or anything like that. So
apparently it's nigh unplayable on Xbox because everything updated all at once. I was playing with Racy last night and he was saying that Gears of War updated, Rainbow Six had its giant 80 gig update or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, all this shit was updating, and so yeah, apparently it fell over a little bit, but
yeah, that's not Activision's fault, I don't think.
No, and that's that's not the servers shitting their pants. That's the patching shitting its pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was a giant patch. It was 20 gigs if you already had
Modern Warfare
it installed. Yeah, and 100 gig if you were just getting the free to play.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, 150 players is the player cap. 3 people in an actual squad. You can play as solos, duos, or trios. So it just means it'll chuck you into another team with people. Or you don't have to have another team of people. You can click on "Don't fill," but you're always going up against at least 3
teams.
Yeah, they're not splitting it, which is cool. They're not having different queues. The map. Verdansk is enormous. It's huge. I think is it like a 10 by 10? I haven't really looked, but it seems like it's bigger than.
It is huge. I don't know how.
Yeah, most of it is playable area. It is not like a lot of water or anything. It's pretty much all land. There are mountains and stuff around the side that you can still see on the map, but it's like an out of bounds area. And then down the bottom, you've got a bit of water down there, but for the most part it is land, underground tunnels and that sort of thing. It's got vehicles, it's got some really interesting gameplay mechanics in terms of your basic circles that have it. There's a gas that's around and you can't survive outside the gas, otherwise you get you take a lot of damage, like probably a lot more than most of the battle royales out there. You can't survive long unless you've got a gas mask, and that'll give you about 15 seconds to get back inside the zone. So there's a really high tick rate on damage outside the zone. It starts off in a pretty big area and then that counts down. There's a bunch of different circles that it goes through, and on top of that you've got like contracts that you can get. And the way the contracts work is that you'll pick them up on the ground, and that'll allow you to do different mission types. So sometimes it might be like a scavenger mission where you need to go and find a certain number of crates out in the world. And if you secure those crates, you get items, you'll get currency, some money, and you'll also get like a percentage based on top of your like rewards. So the more contracts you do, the more rewards you'll get. Like it'll be like a 20% bonus, or now you've got like a 60% bonus, and so that increments every time you do one of these missions. There's stuff in there like there's a contract for bounty hunting. You can go find other teams and challenge them. There's secure areas. What else is there? They're the kind of 3 that I can think of.
The crates, the bounty hunter, and secure area. Yeah,
it must be only 3. So there's like gameplay missions. They sort of elaborated a little bit on the Firestorm mechanic where they would put like flag markers around the map.
Yeah, like
and you'd go and capture the point, and that'd give you a bunch of items. But this is sort of taking that a step further and putting actual missions out. And so you've got money now, and what you do with the money is you're able to call in a bunch of different items. You can call in kill streaks, and the kill streaks they've got in the game at the moment are UAVs, portable UAVs. They've got cluster strikes, and then I can't remember the third one, what it's actually called, but it just throws in a aerial strike that machine guns the entire
it's
area.
airstrike.
Oh, it's just called airstrike?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's call it airstrike.
I'm
I've never
like,
used it because
where
it
are you
looks
going
terrible.
with this? Yeah, I only use it when I pick it up off dead bodies.
Yeah, and these are based on stations that are spread out, like buying stations around the map. And you can also get other things on the map. You can get, in those stations, you can refill your ammo. You can buy
armor. You can't do ammo.
I think there's an ammunition box.
Is there? I thought that was a loadout.
All right.
Maybe.
I'll have to check.
The first one's armor.
Okay.
The first one's I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Look,
there
we've
is
only
stuff.
played it for a couple hours. 15.
Yeah, 15 hours.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of different items in there as well. So there's like a dozen of different things you can actually pick up and spend your currency on. The one that I don't like is the loadout box, and this is something that is like a care package in PUBG or supply drop in Apex Legends, where randomly they'll drop these packages, but you can also call one in, and that allows you to pick a loadout weapon from your Modern Warfare customization screen, and I think that's a huge problem because and it's something you brought up, which I didn't know was possible. Being able to bring in weapons that aren't actually in this particular mode. So the one you were talking about was a shield, a riot shield, right?
Yeah.
So people were running around with riot shields, which aren't actually, as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen them, a part of stuff you can pick up. So anyway, negating that, you've now gone from a game that is supposed to be a battle royale that its core concept is about landing in spots, looting, and getting better loot. Yep. Instead, what they're doing now is they're incentivizing people to get this care package, calling their favorite guns, and then use that instead.
Yeah.
And that's a it's disconnect between what this mode should be. So in my opinion, they need to piss off the loadout selection.
What I think they need to do, right, is don't get rid of them. Don't get make it so that, right? I'm not sure exactly how Modern Warfare does it. It's definitely got points for guns, but they need to have Warzone only loadout screen, right?
Sure.
And on that Warzone only loadout, right, you get rid of all the shit that you can't normally use. Like you can't use the specialist system in Warzone, so it tells you straight up it's useless.
Can't use perks.
You can use perks.
Oh, is it certain perks?
No.
Or is it all of them?
A lot of perks.
Oh, because there's a message that says you can't use something. I was like, oh, you mustn't be able to use this.
The specialist is the thing that allows you to get 6 perks instead of just 3, but you don't get kill streaks. No, you can, but certain perks work different ways. So I think hardline makes. Oh fuck, I can't remember. You get more money out of missions, or you're more likely to find kill streaks in crates and stuff like that, right?
Some of the items were cheaper sometimes.
Yeah.
Perk.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. So you can still allow them to have the perks, but make it so that you can't do whatever the fucking, I can't remember, the one where you can have 2 primary weapons. Make it so you can't have that fucking perk, first of all. Yeah. Just restrict things, right? That's, if you have Warzone only loadouts, you can restrict the way it works so that you're not able to walk up to a fucking crate and then walk away with
your favorite gun. Quadruple the price.
But no, you can still find them on the map and stuff, right? Make them single use. Because I think 5 people can use one before it fucking disappears.
Yeah.
Or at least 3. At least 3 people can use it. I'm pretty sure I saw 2 other dudes use one, and then we ran up and used it afterwards. After we killed them. Yeah, but you can also get rid of certain weapons. The fucking riot shield is banned in the CDL. Why the fuck would it be allowed to, if it doesn't work in a competitive setting, it's not going to work. If it's clearly created to work in certain environments, in certain situations, it's never going to work in battle royales. It is impossible to deal with if there's a team of 3 and one of them has a riot shield, you're cooked. It is literally, in my opinion, Clash from Rainbow Six. Clash is the operator who is banned by the devs for 6 months out of every fucking 12 because they can't work out how to balance her, as she is comically imbalanced. Right? Like, she is so fucking broken, they don't want to get rid of her, so they just make her not available for half the fucking year.
Yeah.
Because they can't work it out. But in, like, I guess they've added all those frag grenades so that you can maybe deal with Clash in Rainbow Six. I'm getting off topic. The fucking riot shields in Call of Duty, you don't have that opportunity. They block enough that, and you don't take enough damage. If you got full fucking shields, right, a frag grenade isn't going to fucking drop you. Right? You need to get around behind them. If there's 2 people standing behind them with guns, you're not getting behind them. Your best opportunity is C4, which is exactly how you used to deal with Monty. They literally just introduced a solution to Monty in Rainbow Six. That, like, the same fucking day that Warzone came out, they finally introduced a solution to Montaigne in Rainbow Six. Like, there's no such thing. Just get rid of fucking riot shields. You have to get rid of riot shields in fucking Warzone. I guarantee you, we're going to start seeing nothing but riot shields in Warzone. Because, yeah, like you said, crates are too powerful as it is. Just make it so that you can't get fucking primary weapons out of them.
Yeah,
you don't get weapons. You go to them for perks, right? You can keep them at the same price if you go to them for the perks, because perks are fucking awesome, and that makes them worth picking up, worth going to, right? You go for perks and make it so you can have 2 fucking lethal and 2 non-lethal grenades if you go to a fucking crate, right? So that way, you're going to a crate because you're guaranteed 2 of your favorite fucking lethal and 2 of your favorite non-lethal, and you get the perks. That's value, in my opinion, right? That is worth the fucking trip. Also getting your favorite weapons customized to the hilts, however the fuck you want them. That's a specific amount of imbalance that I'm not happy with, because it also incentivizes and helps players who have played for a lot longer, because they've got everything unlocked. That's it. Like, it's double weapon XP and double fucking XP at the moment, so I unlocked everything literally yesterday. Like, everything. But yeah, it's still,
just to add on to that, like, people figuring out what is the OP thing for this mode, and then all of a sudden, I don't need to get whatever gun is in the game. I can just go straight to my care package and get it within the first 5 minutes, because all you need to really do is loot a bunch of houses. If you go, that's my
get enough cash.
Specific problem with it is that I don't think there's going to be a way for them to fix it unless they. I just don't want it in there, because I think it should be a looting game. Like, you go from trying to find better weapons. I think get rid of the loadout system in there. Make it drop, like you said, 2 perks. Make it drop a legendary. You just don't get a choice of what's in it, and that way you.
Doesn't the crate in PUBG give you everything you need though? Right, like, you go to a crate in PUBG and you get
you get armor,
a world class fucking, like, primary weapon. You get all the armor you could require, like level 3 everything. Like, how is it different?
No, I'm saying
that's
what this should do here.
Right.
But it shouldn't give you an OP weapon that people can figure out what is the best weapon, and then all of a sudden, because everybody can call it in. They're all over the place right now. They're so cheap to call in.
They're $6,000.
That's extremely cheap.
I think they're a huge waste of money. But
but if you pull all your money in for between you can get one in 3 minutes, I reckon. 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be single use only, right? If it's single use only, it's just a crate. Right? Like, it's literally just a crate at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, I think they'll balance it.
And if you get rid of primary weapons, like, you can't bring in primary weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be a huge fix. It would still be worth going to. It'd still be something you'd go to. It would just be like, yeah, not wildly imbalanced. Yeah, because at the moment it is crazy imbalanced.
Yeah, and I think we'll start seeing that being exploited a bit more. Like the game's only been out for 28 hours,
yeah. 28 hours, yeah.
And I think that's something we'll see a lot more have been exploited. But I think they'll fix it. I think they'll fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we've got a new armor system compared to Blackout. So there's no more. You don't have tiers of shields anymore. You've now got everybody starts off with the same shield, and you can put armor plates into your body, and you can carry, I think, a maximum of 5 plates at a time.
Yep.
Whenever one is
wear
damaged,
a maximum of 3.
Yeah, whenever a plate is damaged, you pull it out and you replace it with a new plate. It doesn't matter if it's 10% damage; it'll just replace that specific bar on the plate. So it's using like the Apex Legends / Firestorm mechanic of you use. I guess it's a little bit more like Firestorm, right? Because the way that Apex Legends works is you use a battery and it fills up an entire 100 fragments, whereas this game is just getting rid of that damaged bar. And then getting, some people are suggesting that it should do like the whole 100 points or whatever it is, as opposed to just removing the damaged section.
Right.
Which would be, I don't know, interesting change. But yeah, it means that you're not looking for higher tier armor. You're just carrying these plates now, which is an awesome change. It's really smart. Really good change. The other thing is once you are downed, you can crawl away. So very similar to Apex Legends in terms of that. You're able to be revived, which is pretty quick. There's no healing items in the game in terms of like first aid kits or everything. You just kind of hide in a corner for a couple of seconds and your health will be recharged. But unless you've got armor, you're going to be shredded pretty quickly. Like the time to kill without having armor is very, very fast. But it makes for some really tense situations of like trying to hide behind cover and get people up. So that stuff is really well done.
Yep.
What happens when you die? You go into the Gulag, which is this coliseum in the prison where you have a 1 versus 1 fight in the bathrooms, and the winner out of that gets put back into the game, which is hilarious. It's so smart. It's such a smart idea, because you've got 150 people. There's people all over the place when you drop in the game, and you can die pretty quickly. And so this gives you an opportunity. Your entire squad could be wiped out. This gives you an opportunity to jump back in the game pretty fast and try again without having to re-queue. I think it's a really smart game design. So there's that. The people above watching you can throw rocks and give people information. So like if someone else dies in your squad, you can relay information of where they are in that particular fight, which is really cool. If you do manage to die, you're not out of the game entirely. Your team can then buy you back into the game using those buy stations, and they need 4,500 cash in order to do that. And you can do that as much as you want throughout the game, as long as there are buy stations up. But you can only fight in the Gulag once the entire match, and it stops at a certain point where you can't be you can't get back in anymore. Yeah. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
The Gulag's fucking amazing. I guarantee you it's in Fortnite within a month or two. They're doing something like it in Fortnite ASAP. It is fucking phenomenal. It drags if it has a fault, and I don't consider this a fault, but if it has a fault, it drags games out so much longer, because going out once is not going out. You can come back in.
The games itself are only about 23 minutes. I think we're averaging about 20 to 25 minutes a game. They're not super long. They're short.
Which is surprising because there are so many fucking people in every game. But yeah, I think it's a positive. right? Like, I don't think it's dragging the game out. I think it is
It's causing more
extending the
action
life.
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's
Right,
more
like
stuff happening all the time.
and there's that. Like, you definitely had a huge disadvantage if you land and you've only got a pistol, but you can do some shit. I have a clip of me landing. I win the gulag fight. I was playing with, I think, Squirrel and Tom, or maybe Racing Tom, Squirrel and Tom. I land. I win my gulag fight. Those two lost their gulag fight, and so my goal is to get enough money to respawn them.
Yeah.
And I jumped. I landed. I think it was at a TV station. Landed. It was completely looted. There were people down on the ground. I landed on the roof. So I jumped in a helicopter and just flew the fuck away, basically into the center of the circle. Bailed out, landed on a roof, got one more gun, and there was a fuck ton of gunfire just off to my, just away. I could hear it. I couldn't see it, but I could see the blips on my fucking mini-map. They were that close, like inside 100 meters. So I ran over, jumped up on top of the roof. There they were. They're having a fight, and I just fucking emptied into them. Got one down. I had I had two white weapons, I think it was. Maybe like a white and a green SMG, but the SMG didn't have a scope. It was iron sights, and so I'm spraying but not doing any damage. So I just fucking jumped off, parachuted down, sword down, and cut the parachute. I think I cut or did I landed and jumped, but in midair I fucking ended one dude, switched guns, ended the other dude, dropped down, shot another dude, and bingo bango, I've got fucking $11,000 or something. I'm like, let's go, let's get you back in. Then I died, but I died horribly. I was still woefully outmatched. There were about fucking 15 other people around me, but nevertheless, that was fucking sick, right? I went into that fight with dick all. I didn't have any armor. I didn't have any fucking. I had no ammo for my assault rifle at the end of the first fucking fight. It was sick, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what the gulag does. It gives you the opportunity to fucking get back in and try and make something happen. And if you don't make something happen, if you die anyway, it doesn't matter, right? Because once you die in a battle royale, you're dead, man.
Yeah.
It's over, right? That's fine. That's what you get. That's how battle royales work. It's just a second fucking chance.
Yeah.
To make something fucking spectacular. Yeah. And that's so sick. And yeah, I love being able to buy people back in. They parachute back down. We were playing with I was playing with Jai, and he was landing again. And he was marked he was the bounty target, as he hadn't put feet on the ground yet, and he was the bounty target. I'm like, yeah, find the bounty target, fine. I'll just go fucking hold up. This actually might get us some gear and some money so I can get Racy back in. But it's Jai. I'm like, he doesn't even have a fucking gun yet. What the fuck is this shit? So he's belting. We're just piss bolting in the opposite direction. We had enough money. Basically what had happened is we were third partying a team, and then we got fourth partied at the worst possible time, and then so yeah, Racy and Jai died, died, and I managed to kill the rest of them. But the team we were third partying, they won their fight, and so they wanted a fucking taste. They wanted to come get us. So I've basically just piss bolted all over the corpses, gotten what I could, shields, whatever lethals, and all the money. Yeah. I'm running out of there with a fuck ton of money, 15K. These dudes were cashed up. We're doing okay. Running away. I'm like, I'll just get Racy back in. It'll be Gucci. And then I actually did it. We got Racy back in. We managed to fight off the bounty. So we actually we got a fuck ton of money out of that as well. Running into the circle. I think there were 3 teams left, and Jai's like, "Oh, my wife's home. I gotta go." And that's when we came third. He jumped off the roof and then ran out in the open and got murdered because he was going to find out where they were. But all it really did was tell them where we were. So it made things really difficult when we had to make a run across an open field. Yeah, we just got sort of picked off. That's actually one thing that I think it does really poorly. Is it feels like when there are a lot of like really enclosed cityscapes, and they have the fights in those are fucking awesome. I've always loved urban fights in battle royales more than anything, because I feel like it contains the action and gives you a chance to win one fight and then fight off the third party. But there are large sections where there is fucking nothing happening on this map. Like, not even fucking houses to loot, right? Like, just empty fucking, like, down the south, there's probably about a 500-meter, like, wide gap where just nothing happens on the south of that fucking map. We landed at park, and we were walking out of there with, like, fucking, like, I had 2 pistols. Like, I found a second pistol. That's my fucking loadout for the fucking start. It's a named area. Why the fuck is it that bad?
Is that the one where I shot the guy out of the sky?
Yes. You're shooting the dude on the way down. It was fucking awesome. But that's right at the south of the map. I guess the prison is like in the far southeast. That's at the very south of the map, and that has a bunch of shit. But apart from that, there is literally a chunk of that fucking map where there's nothing at all. And it's like that's like, if the circle ends there, that's
Sniper City.
Like, it is literally just Sniper City. Anyone with a bolty is fucking Gucci, right? Like, they're ready to rock because they can line you up from fucking forever, and those bolties do a fuck ton of damage. I've been running around with a bolt in PUBG. I will generally never use a bolt action because I don't want to miss a lot. It hurts my soul too much. But yeah, in this, it doesn't matter that much. They do so much damage that it's worth having a punt, and then you've got your secondary if you need it, and you can always swap it out, right? Like, it's goofy how much fucking damage you wind up doing with a bolty, and yeah, you just wind up in situations where it very heavily favors RNG. I don't think they should get rid of sniper rifles. It's not like riot shields, right? Riot shields are a problem because they are a problem in enclosed spaces, and they're a problem if you haven't specifically got the tools required to deal with them. If you haven't got a molly or a C4, a riot shield will fuck your day up, right? Well, should fuck your day up. But or you don't, like, if you're solo against one, you're fucked, right? You basically have to deal with it the way you do in Rainbow Six, which is split and then like go at it from there. But you have to. There's so much that goes into dealing with fucking riot shield. Yeah, sniper rifles aren't the same. Sniper rifles, you just literally need natural cover, and there are giant sections of that map that have no natural cover, which is something that they solved in PUBG Miramar. They solved every single time they've reworked parts of Erangel. They've solved it, like that big fucking part north of Mansion. They put in the forest to fix that literally that problem. Apex, when they reworked World's Edge, they fixed exactly that problem. Like, that is a common issue in battle royales that I'm surprised that they didn't run into, because Warzone seems fucking gung-ho about stealing from other battle royales as much as humanly possible, and I'm fucking about it. I think they do a spectacular job of taking awesome bits from other games and making it work together. This is just one thing. I think map design lets it down a little bit and puts way too much power in the hands of a good bolt action sniper when RNG favors them and gives them the circle. there's one section in that map where you have about a fucking 150-meter run between one rock and another rock.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, so I make it to that rock, and then what are my fucking options? Hope they get fucking distracted?
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder how much of it is attached to performance and like all these players, and because it feels like it's a bit more barren in terms of the grass and things like that. Like, there's no grass anywhere. There's bushes and that sort of thing, but Blackout had like grass on the hills and you could go prone and that sort of thing, whereas this is like none of that. So I wonder how much that sort of affects what they're trying to do, just to try and keep limitations of how people's PCs will run, or even just server stuff. But yeah, I get what you're talking about.
But they could fix that with like natural cover, like def layers, like in Miramar, right? That's how they fixed it in Miramar without the use of trees and shit. They just sort of used undulating terrain. I think that works pretty well. But yeah, holy shit, man. I'm fucking crazy impressed with this.
Yeah. Talk about looting, the way looting works. It's very similar to like a Fortnite or even Firestorm, where it just kind of spits everything out on the ground. Really easy to pick up. All the ammo that you run over, all the secondaries, your tactical stuff. If you've got like a grenade, it'll pick up a second grenade. The actual items, like your weapons or maybe different types of gadgets you want, you can hold the button and it'll pick it up. So it's not like going into an inventory like Blackout and sort of micromanaging that sort of stuff. It's very, very streamlined now. I think it works pretty well for the most part. I guess the only other changes I'd like to see is maybe like a description or something, like something I can pull up to be like, oh, what have I got? Because there's been cases where I've looked at my item and been like, I don't know what that is. Like what is it? What type of gun do I have? Or what type of secondary do I have? Is that a flashbang, or is that an incendiary, or is that a decoy, or is that like? I
struggle to differentiate at a glance between stuns and flashbangs so fucking hard.
Yeah, those two.
Holy shit, man!
Or like, what? Oh, this gun's pretty cool. What is it? What do I have? Or hey, Joab's just dropped in. He doesn't have a weapon. I'm going to drop Joab a weapon because
you can't.
That sort of stuff. So I know they'll look at all this and they'll fix it. That's just criticism I've got, but I really like the looting. The only other thing that I want to see them change is the buying system. You've got to like double click sometimes to be like, I want to buy this, and it's like, do you confirm to buy this? I'm like, yes. I'm running around in a hectic fight. I don't want to get shot at while I'm standing in front of the station. I want to just click it and go, bam, Joab's back in, as opposed to Joab and then yes, and then all right, now like I don't want it to be two clicks. Maybe make it like an option in the options to be like, do you want to confirm your purchases on the stations? To make
that'd be good. Like auto confirm,
parachuting system I really like. For the most part, I think it's pretty interesting. Like you're able to cut your parachute and then glide and then pull your parachute again. You get a pretty far distance with that. And so it's sort of like an in-between. It's not really the wingsuit from Blackout, but it's still free-falling. You can still do a lot of it. You can also pull it at certain distances from the ground, which means that you're you can get on those high cliffs and jump off and parachute your way down. I love that sort of stuff. I really liked it in Blackout, having the wingsuit and just flying down. It's not as maneuverable as the wingsuit,
no,
but you can save your life a lot from that. And like Nate was talking about the other day, and that's when I got that kill. He's like, "Can you shoot while you're gliding on the ground?" I'm like, "No, that's dumb. You can't do that." But you can. If you've got a gun, you can shoot while you're free falling. And I think they're going to change this because I think it's broken. At least with the pistol, you can down someone in about 4 or 5 shots while you're gliding at the start of that game, which is what I did. As soon as he told me you could pull your gun out, I was like, no way. And that game, I got a kill. I just pulled my chute, waited for the guy to go past, cut it, and then started shooting him while he was gliding in the air.
Yeah.
It was way too easy to kill him. So I think they'll. I don't mind having that once you get a proper primary, because I think that's a risk reward type thing. But at the start of the game, that is dumb. Like, if you've got an entire team following one person, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds funny. It's funny to have it happen, but from a gameplay perspective, I think it's not good.
No, I like. Yeah, it's amusing, but
if that starts happening
can't
to
be
me,
allowed
I'll
to
be
continue.
pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Right,
can't
like
see behind me.
It's funny when it's not me. Yeah, it's very difficult to see what's going on, and I've found that our gliding technique, we seem to have landed on the proper gliding technique, or at least a good gliding technique before a lot of other people. And so I've noticed that we are often coming into land
first,
which is ahead of people. Yeah, exactly. Right, like shit.
Especially today, because I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a Reddit post up where somebody has killed someone while gliding. Like, done what I've done.
No, so yeah, right.
And I'm like, great.
So it's over now. Yeah,
A,
it's all happening.
Everybody knows about this, and B, I could have made a bunch of Reddit gold.
Yep.
Yeah. There's one other thing that I want to see change. Apart from the parachuting system, is the heartbeat sensor. I picked up a heartbeat sensor last night. That's broken. That needs to be limited to like a time use or something, because at this stage you can just use it as much as you want, and you pull that thing out and sit in a corner and relay information to your team exactly where someone is.
Really, fucking hell.
Within 50 meters, it's fucked.
Right.
It's broken because there's no limit on how much you can use it. So I think if there's like a time limit, some sort of gauge of like runs out of battery or something like that, that'd be a good change.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think it's super solid. There's so much cool stuff going on. In that game that is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to play a lot more.
Yeah. My first game, I got a win straight off the bat, which was I was playing with two other guys, and I think they were both on their second game. Yeah, we went ham. I think we got like 15 kills. For our first game, we did all right. But yeah, it was so cool. Like, trying to learn what the game was trying to get us to do. We were getting like people in and out of respawns, and it was just such a cool first experience, like learning this game. Like, that's the stuff that really hits home how good these types of games are when you have an experience like that. So yeah, it's been a good run so far. I think I'm around about a 50% win ratio at this stage of us playing. I think we've got about 5 wins or something, 4 or 5 wins out of like 8 or 9 games.
No, not if you're playing with me.
No,
I've won 2 games.
Oh, okay.
Those first 2 games.
I think I've carried a couple of people maybe.
My first 2 games I won, and I have not won
back
since.
games.
Back to back. First win was fucking sick. We had no idea. I had no idea what we were doing. I was so lost, and we were literally lying in a fucking road behind basically a curb, trying to stay in cover, and it worked somehow. And we got that fucking win. That was sick. And then the second
one was the RPG guy.
Oh my god, that one was fucked. The second one, we were cooked. We landed at Dam because there's a Battlefield 5 Firestorm special. You always win when you land at Dam, and the trend continues in Warzone. This dude you pick them up. They come with 1 rocket. You pick up rockets 1 at a time. I could not understand what the fuck was going on, because he kept having more rockets, and he must have fired So I got a thing, like a accolade or whatever. Like, it comes up and it's like, congratulations,
and survive.
Basically, it was like, get downed and revive 3 times in 1 game. I'm like, fuck me. I never want, I didn't even know that existed. I didn't want that that's not an achievement. I don't want to fucking know about that. Don't tell me this.
Well, get rid of it. I don't want people.
Yeah, again, no, fuck. Holy shit! Yeah, we were getting fucking pantsed by this one dude just fucking chunking rockets through this fucking window like non-stop, and I'm like, all right. And then I'd get up, and like you would get me back up, or Nate would get me back up, and I'd run to the fucking stairwell to try to fucking escape, and he fucking another rocket up the fucking ass. I'm like, for the love of Christ! And I'd get up the fucking stairs, and suddenly the fucking rocket comes in up through the fucking stairs. I'm like, you're fucking joking. You are joking. Anyway, we all ate so much fucking rockets on that fucking
Yeah, that one too.
That specific one, that when we went into the last circles with no armor, like no armor.
Yeah, and we were killing people, and they had no
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah, and they weren't dropping armor, and we're like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, it was bananas. That game was hectic as fuck, because it felt like, yeah, we were under the pump the entire time. And like we finally managed, like, we're like, he must be out of rockets, right? Like, he's fired like 700 fucking rockets. I think he can't possibly have any more. So we finally go and assault his building, and he's not there. He picked that exact moment to fucking run.
Yeah.
And we must have chased him for a fair fucking while as well. No, that was a good game. We had some good stuff in that one. That was good.
Yeah. I wanted to add about kill streaks. I'd like to see them change the kill streaks a little bit. I think they should stay in the game because they're very entertaining. But I think you shouldn't be able to use them on like the second or third last circle. Like, there should be a point where you can't call them in anymore. Maybe when the gulag ends.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see the games at the end start being like, who's got the UAVs or who's got the most cluster strikes or airstrikes. It should be a gunfight at that stage.
Yeah. The UAVs in particular, I think, are like give so much away.
Yeah.
And I think the alternative, like the problem then is making, like, trying to work out how, like, what value they have, because maybe when the gulag closes, that's a bit early. Maybe like one circle later, they should be locked off. But yeah, like the circle's still pretty big when the gulag closes.
Oh, okay.
Generally.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they definitely have to be locked off. But it's a challenge. It's a balancing act to make it still worth getting kill streaks, because I think you want to be able to, deal with people who are up on a fucking building or something. You want to be able to fucking bomb off the building or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but you don't want 6 teams where everyone's got cluster strikes just clustering the entire
area. Yeah, exactly.
Like, once people figure out a weird meta, then it's just going to be a nightmare, I feel like. Maybe
if you make do kill streaks do friendly fire damage? They definitely do. They damage yourself.
Not sure.
But if you made them do that, that'd probably change things up a fair amount, because you wouldn't be able to risk going danger close too much.
Yeah, we can try, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought I had. I don't know. Is there much else to say about that mode?
I don't think so. We'll probably talk about it a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming up.
Yeah. I did check out the other mode. So that was Battle Royale that we just talked about. There's a second mode in there called Plunder. Which uses the exact same map. Same sort of... I just want to say, before the game actually starts in Battle Royale and in Plunder, you get put into a team deathmatch, and you can get kills and all that sort of stuff. The game kind of gives you a random gun, and the kills that you get in the warm-up round is you own experience for. So that's, I think, so smart. Again, like you're using guns that you don't normally maybe use, and you're getting experience for those weapons, and you're leveling them up, and that's a really solid idea. So Plunder is a trios again, where you have to land and get cash, which are out of these crates or spread out throughout the world, and you're able to carry this cash around, and there are sites around the place that you can deposit cash. A helicopter will come, very similar to like a Division, kind of what it reminds me of, like extracting this cash. And once you do that, it goes into your bank, and you're good to go. The gameplay here is that you can eliminate other teams, and they'll drop their cash if they haven't banked it, and you can steal it from them. There is stuff in the game where it will mark the highest teams on, I think it's the highest 3 teams on the map, and tell you their locations, and you can then go and hunt those teams and try and get their cash from them. So if you're like coming, I don't know, 3rd or something, and the team that's first is, or 4th, if you're coming 4th and there's a team that's near you that's coming top 3, you can go hunt those guys and steal their cash and maybe get you in a better, maybe even first place if they're doing really well. So yeah, it's using the same sort of map. If you die, you get respawned back in after about, I don't know, 15 seconds. You drop back in, and yeah, that's basically how that system works. There's a limit on how much, I think it's $1 million, how much money you can actually make. But from there, it is, yeah, first team to $1 million, and then there's some sort of countdown where once it gets really close, and I think maybe they need to extract it, there's like a bonus that shows up, and you get bonus money, and it'll show you on the map exactly where this team is that's winning, and so everybody can then go for them and try and stop them from beating the game. But yeah, it's like an interesting event mode, I guess, but it's not an event mode, it's like an actual thing that's in the game. So I definitely think that's something we should jump in and check out, because I played my first game before with some, the game has crossplay. I was playing with 2 Xbox guys, and it was their first. For whatever reason, they decided to play Plunder as opposed to Battle Royale. So it's their first game in the entire thing, and we were coming first or second for most of it, and then we got to a point where we got ambushed by a team, and they came and stole everything, and we dropped down to 3rd place, and a different team ended up winning that game. But yeah, like that stuff was really cool. We were having a lot. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think it was fun. I don't know if it's like it's the type of game where I'm like, I don't play this from now on. I definitely prefer the Battle Royale, but it's a cool little mode that sort of is there. And I feel like it should be more of an event mode as opposed to something that's like splitting the community up, if that makes sense. Like kind of like what Apex is doing. So yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was fun. That one game that I played. Interesting sort of spin on it. But otherwise, I think we'll definitely be talking about this a lot more because I really like it a lot. It's sort of a in between of Apex and PUBG. Like the time to kill is not as long as as Apex, but it's not as short as PUBG. It's sort of in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
I'll check it out.
Is that it? Should we jump into some news quickly?
Yep.
There's a lot of news on here. Let's go up with the first, I guess the first big one, which is E3 has been officially cancelled. There won't be any
Fuck that shit. Who cares? The NBA season has been suspended. It's
really?
over. Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's just been announced.
20 minutes ago. Okay. That's insane.
Fuck everything.
Wow.
Fucking E3 cancelled.
I wonder what happens here. Does that mean we had DeMarcus Cousins back? This is
oh
terrible.
My god.
Yeah, so about just before we started this podcast, San Francisco announced that they were suspending all events or banning all events that had more than 1,000 people gathering. So the Warriors pulled their Warriors games.
Yeah.
Which, well, they weren't pulling the games. They were going to close the stadium off to public to stop people from coming in. So that was something the Warriors did. But yeah, I didn't see this at all until just then. Yeah, that's huge news. I don't even know what they do now. What do they do? Why can't they just have it without people in stadiums? They want to make money.
I don't know. Also, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are the 99th and 100th people to be confirmed to have coronavirus in Australia.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tommy boy. Guess he's not so big now. That's harsh.
There's one here that says Rudy Gobert has tested positive.
And he was touching all the mics and shit.
Yeah.
What a fucking clown patrol.
Fair enough. I didn't see this.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
There's one here that says Mark Cuban finds out the NBA has suspended the season. I'm definitely watching that soon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we gotta watch that. That's fucking amazing. Yeah. I love it.
Anyway, E3 has officially been cancelled. We were talking about this a few weeks back, but I think that this is a huge blow to them. They're gonna feel it extremely hard next year, because I think this will be the point where publishers realize that they don't need E3, that they can do an E3, do it digitally, and it's not really going to be a huge thing for them. They can still have events where they get media out there to play this stuff, but in terms of their presence at this sort of event, I don't think I think it's going to really open their eyes up quite a bit as to what E3 is for them.
It's like it's going to be rough for E3 next year. I think they're going to struggle to put one together, because this is all publishers needed, really, was a reason. Like, I don't think they just needed an excuse, right? An excuse to bail out, and this is what they're getting. This would have been such a big year as well for E3. It's easy to say that, it was dying and everyone was pulling out already and all that stuff, but because new consoles are theoretically on the horizon, were on the horizon, because of that, it would have been a huge opportunity for people to get their first hands on with these consoles, and now they won't. And yeah, that's fucked. That's crazy. They're done now. Like, without new consoles next year, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna. That was their big opportunity. That was their big chance to remind everyone why E3 is so important, air quotes. But without it, they're fucked. It's over.
Yeah.
It's donezo. Yeah. Let it go.
The other news that I've got out of here is that Kotaku reported that Warner Brothers were going to do their own stream or their own conference for the first time. So it sounds like they'll be reevaluating how they do that. And the rumor is they're going to be talking about their new Batman game, or two new Batman games, which is the Rocksteady one. And the other one was the Warner Brothers Montreal, which is the one they've been teasing for. They've been doing Activision marketing on that one. Well, at least they've been teasing something. And and this Harry Potter game, this AAA Harry Potter game, apparently. But other than that, it sounds like a bunch of the publishers are going to go digital. Microsoft said they're going to be doing some stuff. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a huge blow for them. But for at least the publishers, we're still going to get all those big reveals. They're just going to be delivered a lot differently. Not even that. It'll still be delivered in the same format, I guess. Just
the same format. There. Yeah. Like, I mean, it sucks for you because you probably could have gone, but it's not really going to be a big change to me.
Yeah.
Maybe we can live stream it.
We can do that. Maybe. All right. So I don't know if that'll be postponed. I don't see an E3 at the end of the year. That's not the type of show they do. So I think it's done for this year. Sounds like.
I got an email today saying that Gamescom online ticket shop is now open.
Oh yeah.
Which I felt like it was like incredible fucking fuck you E3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Continuing off of that, Microsoft said they're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X next week, which is when GDC was supposed to be happening. I got an email about this because I was supposed to be going to a bunch of GDC events next week, and Xbox was one of them. But instead, they're going to be hosting some live streams, so you can expect them to reveal some... I'm not going to say they're going to be revealing Xbox Series X games there, but they'll be doing some Xbox games for sure on that stream. So keep an eye out for that one. That'll be on streaming services sometime next week. So I'm sure we'll hear more about whatever's going on with Xbox Series X, and again, whether or
Yep.
not these consoles are going to hit this year, because it's going to be some big news soon.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got I put the GeForce Now stuff in here. We haven't really touched on this. It's been sort of trickling over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Publishers pulling out of this GeForce Now subscription service, which is a cloud-based service that ties into your Steam library, and you're then able to take those games and play them on a powerful computer and stream them to your PC. So
Yep.
you may have an underpowered PC that can't run the games at the highest settings, but GeForce has these cloud computers somewhere that are able to do that for you. And what's going on in here is a bunch of publishers saying, no, you can't do that, and they're withdrawing their games from this service, or they're not allowing GeForce to let people play those games. I think this is a super interesting thing to talk about, because it becomes this weird thing of who is in the right, or like who owns your game when you buy it. What the publishers are saying is that when you buy your game, you don't own it. You can't do what you want with it. We want you to play it on the service you bought it on, and that is it. It's kind of like, I don't know, buying a CD and not being able to play it on the device you bought it for. You need to play it on a specific thing, or you can't listen to it there, like on this place you bought it for.
Or like if you bought a CD and put it on your computer, and then it was like, oh well, now that it's in Winamp, you can only listen to it in Winamp.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's locked to Winamp. It's a Winamp CD now.
Yeah.
Did your fucking doorbell just go off?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Right. Like it's that's it. Right. You don't own. We understand this, the music's still on the CD, but it is locked to your Winamp now. You can't play it in fucking iTunes. You can't stream it from like Google Play Music onto your phone, which is literally how I do all of my music. I upload it onto my fucking Google Play Music account and then play it on my phone. Yeah. Oh, except for stuff that gets released on Google Play Music, because then I just add it to my library without having to pay for it, or having to buy it anyway. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it is pretty fucking bananas. Obviously, I think what they want is a piece of the pie, but I think they're double dipping. If like it's only going for stuff that I've already paid for, right? Like I was probably never going to use it, or not going to use it for a while anyway. But yeah, like it's double dipping in my opinion. They're taking the piss.
Yeah.
I do understand the argument that Nvidia probably should have asked people first.
Sure.
But I don't think it makes it okay to remove it entirely, or never come back to the party. Yeah, it's a bit of a fucking rip job. I don't understand how there hasn't been a bigger stink about it. I didn't really notice it until late last week, but yeah, it's some shit, right? Like they just. So I guess we don't own our games. Like it's my Steam library. I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, I guess it's similar to you renting a computer, right? If you rent a computer because you're like, oh, I want to play it on a high-powered computer, that's basically the service that GeForce is offering.
Yep.
How is that any different?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I think it's nuts that, and you've got like indie developers that are coming out. Who was it? The Long Dark. The developers of Long Dark came out and said that they've asked for their game to be removed. I don't know, man. I don't agree with it at all. I think that
dude's a fucking dickhead anyway. I remember when reviews came out and he fucking started launching into people who said his game wasn't the fucking best thing ever. He can go fuck himself forever. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like that GeForce Now is it's probably dead at this stage, but I appreciate what they were trying to do. I just think that publishers being extremely greedy at this stage.
Yeah. I just don't understand how they have a leg to stand on. I guess This is one of those ones where you need that fucking. Remember that gaming lawyer who was all over the place a couple of years ago? I don't know how big he is anymore, but
Yeah, he's on
he would
Reddit, I
like.
think, still.
Right. Well, that it'd be a fucking perfect time for him to come out and explain exactly how the fuck this is okay. Because
Oh, and it's okay because you don't own the games you buy, Joab. Like, it's in the
Yeah.
EULAs when you fire them up.
like say it, just make him say it explicitly, I guess.
Yeah. Draw us a picture. Anyway, I just thought we'd mention that because it's something that's been dragging on for a couple of weeks and we've never really talked about it. I always see it and I'm like, whatever. Next up, we got The Last of Us getting HBO series. I don't know, like I'm like, whatever about Last of Us, but it's being developed by Neil Druckmann, the creative director on The Last of Us and Uncharted games over at Naughty Dog. But it's also being showrun by Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl, who wrote and showrun Chernobyl. I don't know if did you see Chernobyl?
I watched it all.
Yeah, it's an amazing TV show. And if they want to do a HBO series,
very worth watching.
Go nuts.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in. Yeah. Oh, 1000%. I will watch it. Yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'll probably watch it week to week. I'm like a dumb.
As long as it's actually him behind it and not like they're just attaching the name to it, like because that dude I feel like he could do whatever he wants after doing that series, right?
Yeah, true.
And he's picked The Last of Us.
I thought he had something else in the works. If I'm being honest.
Does he? Craig, let me check it out. Maybe he was doing a movie or something. So he's doing Borderlands screenplay.
Maybe that's what. No, that can't be it.
And the Untitled Pirates of the Caribbean 6 film. It's he's hard shifted somewhere else.
And Cowboy Ninja Viking, of course.
Yeah. He wrote The Hangover, Part 2.
Yeah, did you not know this? So he went from writing, basically, not garbage, but like
Scary Movie 3 and 4.
Yeah. So those are the good scary movies, but yeah, like not well received films.
Yeah.
And
someone sent him an angry email saying, "You write shit films." He's like, "I'll fucking show you."
And show them he did. Yeah. Superhero movie. He should be. I can't believe he got work after superhero movie because fuck superhero movie.
That's such a big turn.
It's
anyway,
pretty great.
Hopefully we get the Chernobyl showrunner and not the the Scary Movie showrunner.
No, hey, if you talk shit about Scary Movie 3 and 4 one more time, it's fucking on.
I'm sorry.
Those films are fucking good, okay?
Yeah.
They got some good bits. Some fucking classic bits.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a PC release, which will be in the next it's summer over here, so around June, September.
Right.
I like these moves that Sony's doing because they're starting to put some of their first party games out on PC. Which is something that sort of Microsoft is already doing, but they're doing it day end of release. So, I mean, if Sony was to jump in there and start doing this stuff, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, like it's just a solid plan. This
Especially
one I think will benefit really well from a PC release as well because I think the capacity for people to do stuff to look in, take apart the engine and dig it apart and see what they can do with it. I think it'll be really cool. There's so much to love about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think a PC release will just launch it to an even bigger audience than it already had, which is cool. Yeah. Yeah,
and it could also be another way for, I guess, people to get excited about whatever Guerrilla Games is working on next because it's been it says here 2017.
1 week.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing is probably going to be
Horizon Zero Dawn 2 launch title PS5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, we got a Ghost of Tsushima release date, which will be June 26. This is the ninja game from Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch?
Yeah.
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 Which looks pretty interesting. I'm still not sure what to make of the combat in the game. I don't think they've really talked about it much, but
No, yeah,
that's the kind of thing that's got me worried. But otherwise, like the style of it is sick. Looks awesome.
yeah.
So
It looks gorgeous. Yeah.
So that's a June release. That'll be that game's probably ready to go. If they're saying June, then I feel like they'll hit that
Yep.
3 months from now.
Yeah, and I think they have to hit that so that it's out soon enough that it doesn't get overshadowed by the PS5 release. That's always the concern at when we come into
This sort of
a
stuff.
new console launch.
Yeah. Cool. So next up, I jotted this one in here because I had a look into it. The Valve Index VR, which we talked about last week, is going to be going on sale again after being out of stock for a really long time, and it sold through before it went on release on the time they said it was. So I actually was up during that time, and I jumped onto the market store before it was supposed to, the time they put on, and it had a 6 to 8 week shipping date on it already.
Wow. Jesus.
So all you needed to do to order it at that stage was click the order now button, and it would come up and say, we've processed your order, thank you, blah blah, and that was it. You would go into a thing, and then later on you get an email asking you to confirm all your order details and that sort of thing.
Right.
I don't know how many they had to sell, but it was gone before, like a long time. It seemed like before, maybe an hour, maybe half an hour before that time they specified it was going up for sale again. I think this is a problem because this is their like flagship release for this hardware. Like this is the thing that is supposed to be like, this is why people want VR, and I think they fucked it by not having the hardware available. It's a game that's coming out in 2 weeks, and they're saying it's going to be too much shipping on it, on the hardware.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I just don't understand how they've whiffed this as hard as they have. Like if they obviously hardware they're not a hardware company, right?
Yeah.
But still, this is supposed to be the big fucking move, right? Like
you can't buy an Oculus. Like they're sold out. You can't. Like people want to play this stuff, this game, and there's no hardware for it. You can get the hardware. You're gonna have to pay an extra $300 US to try and find it, because that's how much people have jacked up prices in like your Best Buy or whatever. But you can't buy it from like an official store. So yeah, it's just like causing weird issues with scalping and people trying to sell it like high prices on this stuff. I just think that if they wanted to do it properly, they should have announced the release date a long time before. I think it was November last year, December, and the thing has been on like not purchasable. You haven't been able to buy it since then, and whatever production channels they've got going for this thing is nowhere near enough.
Yeah, but and it's clear that the demand is there based on how much the scalpers are able to skyrocket the prices. I sell mine and create a nest egg for when the world ends. The apocalypse
like I'm not
off.
into, I don't know how this stuff works entirely, but in my mind you would put a list together of people, like pre-order it, put your pre-order list in, or your order list in, and then figure out how much people want this, and then go to manufacturing plants and be like, this is what we need. And maybe it's not just at one plant, maybe you've got to have it signed in multiple. But the fact that they had it sold out, like you couldn't order it, so they didn't know how many people wanted this thing. They were just like not taking orders, and so you get to a point where they put the thing back on order and you can't buy it. You still can't buy it. They're looking like a 2-month wait, maybe more. I think this is being handled extremely badly.
100%.
And I don't know if it's Eric's fault, but it's somebody's fault over there.
Let's not blame Eric on this one. Okay, he gets a lot of stick, but this one isn't on Eric.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that game's out in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just over 2 weeks. It looks sick. They've released more videos of it. It just sucks.
I'm on complete blackout now, so I don't see anything.
It's
But,
just
yeah.
it's disappointing that like that game will use certain features that not all of the VR kits will have, like your hand,
Yeah.
finger index registry and all that sort of stuff. So unless you've got the latest and greatest or the add-ons that you can buy for this stuff, then you're going to be missing out on certain bits and pieces. So, have you got the finger tracking stuff on yours? No.
No, man. Not even close.
What have you got? Oculus?
I've got the Vive 1,
Vive.
like the original.
Right. You can't buy like updated controllers or anything, because I think that's how the Oculus works.
No, I could.
Oh.
I could get index controllers and use them with my Vive, but you can't buy them. It's not possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you tried? Have you tried ordering them last Monday?
I was too slow.
Yeah.
My time travel. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. That is the news. Any questions, Joab, that you can see? Because
let's have a squiz.
I don't know if there was.
I didn't see the thing come up.
I didn't see any come through.
Nope. No questions.
Well, that's fine,
All right.
because we've been gone for nearly 4 hours now. It's a long one.
Crikey. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long one.
All right, that's
Cool.
the show. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places. You can search for The Gap, the GA Podcast, The Gap Podcast. Should come up. Please, if you've got a moment, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find it. Shows up on their feed. If you would like to send us questions, you can do so. The GA Podcast at gmail.com. Go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. Leave us questions in there. Or ask Joab what he's doing with his eyebrows, one of those two things. You can also find our social media, facebook.com/GA Podcast, twitter.com/GA Podcast. You can go to our YouTube page, which is thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can watch our eyebrows doing weird things on the screen.
Doing many weird things.
Last week we put up some game footage of a bunch of stuff that Joab had played. We put up some Warhammer Vermintide 2 footage. I put up some Desperados 3. I put up some Man-Eater footage. I think that is it off the top of my head.
Cool.
Looks like it. So I'll try and get some. I'll try and get some Call of Duty Warzone up there. I'm having issues recording footage for some reason.
I can send you some of mine.
Which is really we'll figure it out. And then what else have I got? I don't think I've got any Ori footage, but anyway, maybe I might have some Left 4 Dead footage. I'll have to check. Anyway, but you can watch this on YouTube. It's good fun. It'll chew through your bandwidth though, because it's like a 5 gigabyte episode each one. It's pretty big.
It's huge.
But it's the only way to experience this in 3D.
3D?
It's not in 3D.
It's not in 3D.
No.
But
you can go to our website, which is thegapodcast.com. You can find links to all the things we talked about on the show today, including past episodes of the show. You can also subscribe to our Patreon if you want to help support the show. Go to patreon.com/thegapodcast. We appreciate everyone that does that every month. It helps us pay the bills.
You're the best.
And
the best.
Is there anything you'd like to pimp out this week? Obviously, you put up a review on the website.
Yeah, go have a look at that review. It's pretty good, I think. I don't know. It's good, some good work. I edited it myself. I didn't get anyone else to have a look at it, so it's always a risk. But just figured I'd chuck it up. It's even got a GIF in it. So yeah, have a look at that. And yeah, nothing yet. I'll put hopefully doing some Warzone writing. Some writing about Warzone, but
cool.
I have to wait and see how that goes. Yeah.
Awesome.
What about you? What do you got?
Nothing. Everything I've been supposed to be doing has been cancelled. So
yeah.
At this stage, I'm looking for a new job somewhere else, not in game training.
What about
basketball.
in? Yeah, basketball. Fuck. Well,
Basketball
there goes
also,
that idea.
Two of the things that my biggest passions aren't happening anymore. So that's good. Yeah. You can find me on twitter.com/Luke Lawrie.
And me, Joby Jojo. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
That is it for this week. We'll be back next week. Doom is out next week. So hopefully we can talk about that.
Is it next week? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And some more Call of Duty Warzone. Jump in the Discord if you want to play some Call of Duty Warzone. We had a bunch of people in there last night. Unfortunately, I was busy with other stuff, and Joe wasn't around, but he showed up eventually. We played some games.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone, listening.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.